Today I guess it's okay so far, but I did kind of just come down here like right away, so that
Yeah, whose fault is that, dog?
I don't know. I guess the dead guy.
It's the dead guy. The fuck does that mean?
The guy who hit me. He's dead.
Nice. Are you sad that he's dead, dog?
Um, not sad or happy either way. No, no feeling towards it.
Um, what if he came up to you and he said, "I'm sorry, dog"?
Sure.
Did you shake his hand?
Uh, don't know. Maybe.
Are you gonna build in real life?
Oh, I'm gonna do that later tonight after I eat.
Hi, I'm Matt Dean, Chief Mechanic at Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team, and I'm here to answer your questions from the internet. This is F1 Mechanic Support. This question is from the Tools subreddit. Mechanics, what is your favourite or most underrated tool? Some of the tools that we actually use are quite different to what you would use on a regular car. They can be quite small. A big mechanic's favourite is
You can hear me,
it's
right?
called a bit driver. Super low profile, we can change the bits over it quite easily, and it's really good to getting into really confined spaces on the car, underneath the bodywork and the fairings and all the winglets on the car. Actually, let's go and have a look at the tools. So one of the favourite tools of the mechanic is the F1 wheel gun. This is used to loosen and tighten the wheel nut up itself. Unlike regular road cars, we only have one wheel nut. So as the car comes in, the mechanic has to line this wheel gun up with the wheel nut. He goes on, pulls the trigger. As he comes off, changes direction on the wheel gun. New wheel is fitted, and then he comes back in, pulls the trigger to tighten the wheel nut up. Once he's finished, he's lifting the wheel gun up in the air, pressing the button here to acknowledge that that wheel nut is tight and the car can leave the pit box. All of this happens in less than 2.2 seconds. And this is your regular leaf blower. We use this to cool the engine down as the car comes into the pit box, and also to cool the brakes. So we've worked with Einhell on this tool to ensure we get the maximum airflow through the brake ducts and through the radiators of the car to cool them down as quick as possible. So now I've showed you a couple of the tools, let's get back to some more questions. Our next question is from YGG. Dumbest way you've ever lost a tool? Probably shouldn't say this if Toto's watching, but I was fitting a fuel cell to the car, which made out of a Kevlar, very flexible material. You put the fuel bag into the car, and you've got to get your hands right in the corners to try and get the fuel bag to expand within the cockpit itself, the chassis itself. I didn't have long enough arms, so I used a hammer, a rubber hammer. Used it, poked the fuel bag out, fitted the fuel bag fine, fitted the rest of the fuel system, buttoned all the top hatches on, so it was all ready to go. Sent the car out, and it was probably about a race later that I'd realised I'd lost my hammer and it was left in the fuel system. We've had other issues where tools have fallen out of mechanics' hands and they've gone down in between the V of the engine and the gearbox bell housing, and all the rest of the mechanics just look at each other and go, oh God, now we've got to pretty much take the whole car apart to try and fish this socket or the spanner out of where this mechanic's dropped the tool. So normally he's buying the beers in that evening. A Cora user asks, what is more important
You cooking
in Formula One,
dinner
the car
tonight?
or the driver? Obviously, we as mechanics
No, I'm probably gonna get food somewhere.
say the car, drivers will say themselves. An age-old question, really.
Probably gonna go
Everything
to
has to work
Woodbine.
together.
Popeyes?
The car, the engineers, everybody back at the factory.
Oh, but they
the
do have a
engine side,
Popeyes
the
there.
Brixworth and the driver. It's a team sport, and that's why everybody works together to try and get those final tenth of a second out of the track time. This is from Fogarty4, how to become a Formula One mechanic. I get asked that question a lot, and I think the best advice that I could give you is learn how to use spanners, learn how to use ratchets, and whether that's from when you're a little kid, repairing bicycles, repairing motorbikes, building go-karts. There are a number of colleges, and there's a couple of colleges at Silverstone, I believe, that you can go there, you can train, but actually getting that hands-on experience is vital. We often take people from the lower formulas, they start in Formula Ford, move their way up to Formula 3, Formula 2, so it's a great training ground for mechanics. And then once you get to us in Formula One, you know how to use your spanners, you know how to use torque wrenches. You've gone through your training, you've dabbled with bicycles when you were a kid, you've worked on your motorbikes, you've worked on your go-kart, you've gone to college, you've got all your qualifications. What do you do next? You've got to get yourself seen. Pester me. Pester the guys that are working on the team. Drop them some emails, get yourself noticed out there. But certainly, if you're working in the lower formulas, Formula 2, Formula 3, they support a lot of the F1 races, so it's great, you're in there, you're travelling with the teams, so you get to know other people, and that's super important. Next thing you've got to deal with is strapping George Russell in the car on the grid. You've got to deal with that pressure and getting used to the amount of people around you, the cameras, and dealing with all that side of Formula One, the travel, and just working within a team environment, being a good team player. From Gonzo 5622, do F1 mechanics get angry when their driver crashes? Yes, definitely, some more than others. I try and remain calm, but there's a lot of the guys, the younger ones especially, they can get quite upset about it. Obviously, we're at the end of the chain. There's thousands of people back at the factory producing all the car parts for us to assemble. The car goes out on track, if the driver has an accident into the wall or something fails on the car, and it's an awful lot of work for us to start putting that car back together. And we have to do it often after P1 or P2. There's a short amount of time for us to repair those cars, so it's all hands on deck to get that finished and the car back out on track. So next one's from Mean Divide 490. Explain like I'm 5. Why are F1 drivers hot if wind is coming at them at 200 to 300 kilometers per hour? Often we're working in places like Singapore, Qatar, where the ambient is 34, can be 38 degrees. You've got to remember these drivers are sat in a really confined space. They've got an engine that's running behind them, incredible high temperatures. They've got the brakes that are raging hot in front of them, and they've got all these electrical boxes that sit around them. So the temperatures in the car can get as high as 48, 50 degrees. And in fact, now the drivers are wearing cool suits to try and cool them down during the race. Also, there's small ducts in the side of the car that blow cool air over the drivers to try and cool them down during the race. But you'll see in often races, the drivers will get out of the car, they're absolutely maxed out, they're so hot, they can hardly stand when they get out of these cars. Our next question is from Great Emu War. Explain like I'm 5. In Formula One, why aren't all the drivers given the same car to test who is the fastest? It's kind of Formula One, really. Each car is designed by a different team, so they will always interpret the rules differently. And also we've got different engine manufacturers, so it's not a one-make series. Everybody designs their own car, and it's who does the best job will win. So this is a question from Calvasource. How does F1 team manage to repair their cars in under a week after a horrible crash? Often we have to do it in a lot less than a week. Our shortest time period over a race weekend is from P3 to qualifying, which is 3 hours. So we have to repair that car in that time. Parts will obviously come back to the factory then to get made again, but yeah, we're often rebuilding cars in less than 3 hours. If we have a big accident and we do have to repair the car in 3 hours, then what we'll try to do is pull some of the mechanics off the other car. Obviously we have 2 cars in the garage. We've got a group of 15 mechanics on one car, same on the other. So if we are trying to repair, say, George's car, then we'll take mechanics off of Kimmy's car to start rebuilding that one. I remember there was a time in Monaco where we were a very short period of time to get the car ready for qualifying. We literally had 2 people on one of the cars and everybody else was on that one trying to get it ready for qualifying. So next one's from M Green 888. What hand tool brands do F1 mechanics use? Lots of teams up and down the pit lane are using a variety of tools, but above and beyond the normal spanners and the torque wrenches, ratchets that you see, we'll work with different partners, and one of our partners is Einhell. So we use some tools like this. This is great for when the car comes in, it might have a little bit of damage that we need to just trim off, and then use this super fast setting glue to try and fix the car and get it back out on track. We also use Einhell fans that cool the chassis down, and the brakes when the car comes into the pits. So yeah, lots of different types of tools, as well as the normal standard ones that you would use at home in your garage. This question's from Consistent Box 4430. No touching the car rules. The no touching car rules applies to parc fermé and curfew times. So curfew times start on a Wednesday. The car cover goes on the car and we have to be away from the circuit for a certain amount of time, around about 13 hours, and then we'll come back in on the Thursday. We'll work to a certain time, then we have to be away from the circuit again. This all started back in the day where the support that we got from the factories wasn't quite as good as what it is these days. So we had to do an awful lot of work at the track, and often the guys would be working all night, and then they get to work on the car the next day. They haven't had any sleep, so it's really done for safety reasons. Then the other side of it is the non-work in the parc fermé. After qualifying, the rule is that you cannot touch anything on the car, you can't work on the car at all. We can take body work off, we can examine, we can change fluids on the car, but actually physically changing any of the setup or anything like that we're not allowed to do. We can do brakes, we can change fluids on the car, but mainly it's just a visual check of everything on the cars. There's another rule, no touching the car. If we get a 5-second or 10-second penalty at a pit stop, for instance. So you may have seen on TV, the car will come into the pit box, it will stop on the marks, and everybody just stands there not doing anything. Obviously that's really unnerving for the mechanics because they're used to just diving on the car and getting the pit stop done. We have a guy with a big sort of kind of lollipop that goes over the top of the car. He's there with that, counts down. As soon as that's lifted, then the guys dive in and complete the pit stop. This non-touching rule for the pit stops is really so that we can serve our penalty and you don't gain an advantage. You stop on the marks, serve your penalty, and then you do the pit stop. So this question's from High on Moon. What happens to broken F1 car parts? Well, since the cost cap, we try and repurpose all of them. Broken car parts will come back to the factory here. What we then try and do is salvage as much as we can to remake the part again. Often, if parts can't be redone or repurposed, then they'll get made into some sort of trophies or memorabilia. Obviously, in the cost cap regulations that we have to work to, everything we spend, if any of the car parts are broken, it all comes out of the cost cap. So we need to be really careful to manage those parts and either repurpose them or try to recycle them. Next one is from Von Schitzelberg. Explain like I'm 5. Why all the F1 race cars look the same? Because we copy each other. Same as road car manufacturers. Obviously everybody's working to super tight regulations. There's different teams will interpret some of the rules differently, but if you have a long stretch of rules that have been very similar, as they have been in the last few years, then the cars all evolve to be looking exactly the same. Cowboy N7 asks, do F1 teams have specific groups of mechanics that specialise in certain aspects of the car? Absolutely. We've got guys that work on the front end of the car, the rear end of the car, hydraulic systems, gearbox systems, and obviously there's all the engineers that are telling all us guys what to do. Overall, the car has 15 mechanics that are working on each car. Next question's from Quora. Who decides a driver should make a pit stop? It's definitely not us as mechanics. We're there to perform the pit stops. And there's a number of strategists back at the factory in what we call a RSR, race support room, and then we have a strategist at the track as well. The guy at the track will be the final call to make that pit stop, which then he will speak to the sporting director. We'll know what set of tyres that we're going to fit to the car. The sporting director will come on to me, and then I will direct all the mechanics out to perform the pit stop. We're always mandated to make one pit stop during the race. We have to fit a different compound of tyres to the compound of tyre that we've started the race on. But you can do that at any point during the race. Car will come in. It's my job and the rest of the team to make sure we get the right tyres on the right car. Involved in the
Dude, last night Iz wanted burgers.
Did you get rodeo goat?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Oh.
Did you build your own?
No, I get it's got like bacon, crispy onions, jalapenos, barbecue sauce. It's like it was filthy.
That sounds
Iz
great.
wanted to get in bed early, so she asked if I could come into bed and just hang out with her and Jack, and I was like, I put up a little bit of a fight. I wanted to play some games out in the living room. Put up a little bit of a fight, but I did it. Ate the burger in bed, lights off.
That's something I can't
Whoa.
do. I can't do that.
That's complete
I
violation.
need to see
Pitch
my
black
food,
room.
and I'm not eating in my bed.
Bacon burger, barbecue sauce. Talk about a
Bro.
filthy
In the
simulation.
bed.
No, I can't do that.
Not, like pitch black.
Yeah, I can't. That,
Just all she heard was. I was like, sorry if I'm smacking.
Optic Texas are only 2 wins away from an undefeated qualifier stage. This would be the most impressive qualifier stage in CDL history, considering the 11-match format compared to the previous high of 7 games in a stage. This would also be Shotzi and Dashi's 5th undefeated qualifier stage, which would tie Simp, Abizi, and Celium for the most undefeated qualifier stages in CDL history.
I mean, yeah, this is the most matches in a split ever, right? It has to be.
Yep.
So, yeah, 7 games in a stage. So if they go undefeated through 11, that's impressive. And I think they're going to do it, knock on wood. But
Kremp right now leading the opening duel percentage in Search and Destroy.
who else do we play? We play Riyadh. Actually, that's going to be a banger. We play Riyadh and Toronto our last 2. That Riyadh match is going to be a good one.
Smitty with a prime for 17. Thank you. Me and Mark got dinner last night.
Did you?
Went to Uchiko.
Oh, that's nice.
You were invited.
Yeah, but you know, it's like,
No, I'm just saying, don't say, oh, that's nice, as if you weren't invited.
yeah,
You
I
were.
was invited. It's just we're in the stage right now where we can't really do anything. You know, like we'd have to get someone to watch after the baby, which we definitely could, but we need like some planning there. You know, need a little
Makes
bit.
sense.
It's we can't really do like the spontaneous shit. We have to have like a game plan. But here we go, map 2. Okay, 1 for 1.
I say we bring him to the bar.
Bring him to the bar.
Show him who we are early. This is us, Jack.
Who I used to be.
These are our roots.
I wonder if I'm gonna be one of those dads that's like 40 and just ripping light beers, just, you know what I'm saying? Get home from a day of the watch party, open up the fridge, light beer. Another light beer. Are you not already? No, Tiff, I don't drink like at all.
2v2. And Exceed actually has some really good map positioning right now. If he hits this gap,
Cap? Brother, I can't tell you the last time I've had a
I'm
drink.
tripping. Carolina's on offense.
That's how long it's been.
He's worried he's still back up. He has repositions, gets eyes, and Sky's
Okay, 2v1 here for Craze.
Yeah, I mean, this is
For the ace as well. Hold up.
That's a really good back-to-back.
Yeah, great back-to-back.
Good read from Craze, but just too weak.
They got the guns for the job, too. The AR's coming out. 1-0, G2. A little wine action? No, actually, Denisa came over. She was over last night. I got home. She was there. They were drinking wine.
Nice. Wine makes me tired.
I didn't
shit
have.
gives
I
me a
didn't have
headache,
any.
bro. Every time I drink wine, I get a crazy headache.
I thought he was going to spot the guy in the doorway for a second. I thought he was going to spot the guy behind.
I mean, that's how you know, bro. I come home, they're drinking wine. They asked me if I wanted a glass. I said no. Like, I'm just a fucking loser.
Getting info, taking space.
Okay, here we go, round 2.
Sky's a nice start. We'll see if he can find more.
What? Lied about dry January?
I'm not sure where. It doesn't
Sorry about
connect.
Mostly dry
For some
January.
reason, I'm expecting his
Pretty
name
much
to
dry.
90% of the time.
There was a drizzle in the desert.
Birthday, so he's finding one.
I mean, you were happy to get that one. I wasn't sure if you spotted them in rush.
Okay, Craze, big 2 outside of long. 2v2 now.
But the fact
What do
he
you got
gets
here? Who
one
wins
turns
this
into a
round?
2-on-2. So nice
Uh,
stuff from Mamba to readjust.
No, say it right now.
Give me Ravens, give me Ravens.
I got you too.
I didn't realize there was two here.
Oh, yeah, now you got G2. Bueno gets one. Peace, Exceed.
G2 up
Okay.
2-0.
Scrambling away a week.
So far, so good for
That's
G2.
another round for G2.
Okay, G2.
Search and destroy prowess
I thought
continues to
Ravens had a good
dominate
expo game. Kind of getting picked apart.
It's only 2-0, but yeah, I mean, so far.
Bueno, 4-0. Look at him go, dude.
Those are back-to-back 2v2 rounds, too.
And then he just
It's a
sort
game
of
of dubs.
re-snaps. He
Yeah.
re-centers and finds
That used to
one.
be a vibe, playing dubs all
That
day.
was awesome to see, and then yeah, they just played around through the middle.
What, like Dub Search?
Guys found
Yeah.
those final two. But yeah,
Used to
no,
be
I
a
thought he
vibe.
was team shooting him, but then he like snapped up to the guy.
Yeah, no, 100%. I thought the second player there was going to get one. Honestly, like they kind of got baited into that, but then Sky's just.
All right,
like,
round 3. Here we
himself.
go. Can the Ravens? We got triple donies. Dude, I swear we see a lot of triple donies this year. Am I tripping?
Ravens.
I swear we see so many. Like, one player has all the kills. Nobody else has one for. Ooh,
Kobe.
enjoy that.
Right into the top window.
Drop in,
Don't you
Crick is
open
gone.
up that window.
Much needed blood.
Don't you let out that antidote.
4v2. Mamba makes it okay. 1v2. Caesar Sky's bueno. This guy invested in his game, but how much?
He's now the clutch in a 1 versus 2. He's yet to die.
Okay, they get the info on him. He's going to get lost, though.
Damage and bomb has been recouped.
Yeah, he put some shots in XC. XC was down to 59. And
If he can shoot this gap, he can kill Bomb Planner. You got to go.
Ah, that timing. Wait.
But he knows where they're going. He's on the... Yup. And he's got all the info.
Yep, got options.
I don't know if he took those first shots, but I don't think so. Till the second time, but Sky's
Does not
Probably
have
jump
the
ASMD,
read, but he
he's gonna
knows
start
where he
panicking.
is.
He's gonna start
looking
moving.
to clutch up in this 1 versus 2.
Yes, sir.
Just trying to get
Oh,
the
he still didn't
ball.
see him, though. He's getting such good timing.
Yes.
Oh.
He's gonna have to peel him off the heady or
Ah!
lurks with the movement.
So
lurks with
close
the
for
gun.
Caesar. But Lurks wins the 1v1. Will Byers takes out Vecna.
I miss the old days at events, dude. You know what I miss from events? The walk-in tunnel with all the banners. That shit was such a vibe. You walk in,
It was cool air in that tunnel.
yeah, and it has like this certain smell to it. Like it smells like a dry convention hall, which is what it was,
And it
like
was
a
dark.
dry.
It was dark besides the illuminated banners.
Oh, dude, I miss that shit.
It was good.
I remember when I would play this song in the background and my stream would get taken down back, what, like 2 years ago? Or a year and a half?
What, the anime song?
Yeah. I think like for the difference in or like for the actual proper enforcement of the policies, the same time I think my channel got reinstated was the same time where they stopped removing streams for playing shit like this.
Will they become more relaxed with it, or?
Well, technically this is like this is copyrighted, but it's not like it's still fair use technically. So it's not even that their policies were lax, it's just that they were going insane. And with YouTube policy, it's not always clear. Like they don't always go into specifics about policy either, so it's hard to even tell half the time.
I really love that track, dude. Like, you can play it in the background and fucking do whatever you want. It's fucking amazing.
Well, yeah, when I first started listening to it, it was while I was building Lego on here, so it's kind of feels like a perfect song to put on when I'm doing Lego. Hi,
You see this guy?
what are you doing for dinner?
I don't know what you want to do for dinner. That's what you said.
I don't know, I was just thinking of either getting Woodbine food or, I don't know.
Fucking jerky store. 100% that's okay. I probably won't be home in time for that. So.
Well, if you want to like go somewhere or do something, then I'll wait, but.
Well, Dad still sounded like shit on the phone, so.
Yeah, but either way, I'm gonna go get something.
Yeah.
Say that again?
I don't know what you want to do. If you didn't
Not
do the other thing. What?
Well, it's not that I would want to do anything else. It's just that I would be willing to maybe do it.
I don't even know. I don't know what to do anymore about food. It's so like annoying having to think about food every day. I don't know. Figure out something and message me about it. Even if you decide to do Woodbine or whatever, like figure it out. Maybe I'll have you grab me something or something.
Well, I guess the other option would be like go to Swiss Chalet or something, but.
Yeah. Well, have you talked to Dad about what he's?
Not yet.
Do that first, just because like when we left for a patch burger yesterday, like it's not like he can't like be mad because like we need to eat food too, but like if we're like doing it again or whatever, so just talk to him first and just see. Let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Ouch.
Can you still not taste? Can you still not taste?
Sorry, bud?
Can you still not taste? I'll be back.
This device just keeps saving you from getting spam filter. If you've ever struggled to order food, ask for directions, or just connect with locals in another country, you know how stressful.
Corvette in 1968. Shocked to discover that this 435 horsepower American engine was making more power than their flagship V12 while costing a fraction of the price. The L88's true character revealed itself the moment you started the engine. The loping idle from that radical cam timing announced to everyone within 3 blocks that this wasn't a normal Corvette. At idle, it sounded like it was missing on half its cylinders. Under acceleration, it sounded like controlled violence. But the real revelation came when you actually drove one car. The power delivery was savage and linear from 3,000 RPM to redline. Where normal big blocks would start to fade at high RPM, the L88's aluminum heads would spread far.
Convicted of trying to aid ISIS. So this guy with a foreign sounding name, let's just say, we try not to name people who commit these kinds of attacks. It ain't John Smith, okay? This guy was convicted 10 years ago of attempting to aid ISIS, and he somehow remained in our country. For 10 years somehow, we did not throw this guy out of the country, run him out of our country with tar and feathers. So he was here, and then he did the thing that you would expect the guy who was convicted of trying to aid ISIS to do. He shot up a school. So he killed one person. He injured 2 others. The guy he killed was the ROTC instructor, instructor. However, the silver lining in the storm cloud of this attack is that the ROTC students, these civic-minded, future members of our military, neutralized the threat. That's the euphemism that people are using. What they actually did, these kids were unarmed. The guy comes in there armed to the teeth, but it didn't matter because even though he had an arms advantage, they beat him to death.
There were students in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people?
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
The one that went to the Jew.
I love that this woman, you can tell she actually takes some pride in what those students were able to do, their heroic actions. You can tell, you see a little smirk there, but she's trying to use the neutral, clinical language that we all use as euphemisms to cover up harsh realities. But there's no way really to hide the reality of beating someone to death. So she says the students rendered him unalive. Rendered him unalive. That's a new one. That's a new, you're gonna say, someday, Johnny, I've got really bad news. Your grandfather was rendered unalive today. What? What does that mean? Rendered unalive and neutralized the threat. And they didn't have guns, and he did. They beat him to death. So, unfortunately, they were only able to do that after he killed their ROTC instructor. But our conclusion from this remains consistent. Our military, past, present, and future, look at these students, is very strong. We can have a lot of hope for our military. They are tough as nails, tough as ever. Our political order is not. Our political order, the one that in 2016, Barack Obama's president, liberal immigration enforcement, liberal prosecutors, all galore. This guy pleads guilty to attempting to aid ISIS. And they say, okay, well, don't do it again, Muhammad, Abdul, Muhammad. Don't you do it again. Okay, we're going to let you stay in this country, but that's very naughty of you to try to aid the terrorist organization that we're at war with. Very, very naughty. We're very disappointed in you. You better not do it again. And then he does it. The second terror attack yesterday took place in Michigan. It was against a synagogue. This is another guy who I guess was American. He's an American citizen. He was born in Lebanon. And he's not what I really like the Lebanese people. I like some of them. I spent a little time. I traveled to Beirut once. The people were lovely. The Christians are great, and the more moderate Muslim types are great. But there are also some not so moderate Muslim types in Lebanon. I guess this is one of them. He rammed this synagogue in his car with explosives. The authorities are already saying that this is related to the Iran war. Authorities are investigating those reports that he apparently told multiple family members that this was because of the Israeli strike on Lebanon, which killed his family, reportedly. That's according to law enforcement officials talking to CNN. Those two terror attacks. One is from a guy who's been talking about how much he loves ISIS for 10 years. Another, a Lebanese guy who's apparently upset about the Israeli strike on Lebanon, which comes in the context of the Israeli and U.S. strikes on Iran, attacking the synagogue in Michigan. This after the Austin shooter. Don't forget, right after the American strikes on Iran, you have this Muslim guy in Austin shoot up a bar wearing an Iran T-shirt pledging allegiance to ISIS. This after the Muslims go from Pennsylvania to New York to throw IEDs over the heads of a liberal counter-protest at the conservative protesters in New York City, the year that's the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And I have a big question. He's not what I really like the Lebanese people. I like some of them. I spent a little time. I traveled to Beirut once. The people were lovely. The Christians are great, and the more moderate Muslim types are great. But there are also some not so moderate Muslim types in Lebanon. I guess this is one of them. He rammed this synagogue in his car with explosives. The authorities are already saying that this is related to the Iran war. Authorities are investigating those reports that he apparently told multiple family members that this was because of the Israeli strike on Lebanon, which killed his family, reportedly. That's according to law enforcement officials talking to CNN. Those two terror attacks. One, just from a guy who's been talking about how much he loves ISIS for 10 years. Another, a Lebanese guy who's apparently upset about the Israeli strike on Lebanon, which comes in the context of the Israeli and U.S. strikes on Iran, attacking the synagogue in Michigan. This after the Austin shooter. Don't forget, right after the American strikes on Iran, you have this Muslim guy in Austin shoot up a bar wearing an Iran T-shirt pledging allegiance to ISIS. This after the Muslims go from Pennsylvania to New York to throw IEDs over the heads of a liberal counter-protest at the conservative protesters in New York City, the year that's the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And I have a big question. If we fight the wars in the Middle East in no small part so that we fight them there and therefore we won't have to fight them here, why do we keep having to fight them here? Clearly, fighting them there is not preventing us from fighting them here. There is a simple answer as to why we have to fight them here. It's because of our immigration policies. The only way you can make the argument, we got to go fight them there so we don't have to fight them here, the only way you can make that argument is if we actually limit immigration and enforce our border. So Trump closed the border, but Biden threw the border wide open. Trump has closed the border. The border is effectively shut down. You really can't get in. But we still have 1 million people a year coming in through illegal immigration. We still have tens of millions of people here. We don't even know who they are. What we do know about them is that at least some of them are quite hostile and support Islamic fundamentalism and jihad. So you can't, in that world where you've got a bunch of people here and you have a porous border, at least when the Democrats are in charge, then fighting them there actually makes it more likely that we're going to fight them here. That's the flaw in that argument. This is why, by the way, this is one of the reasons why it seems to me that reasonable minds can disagree on the Iran war. There are two views that are out there in public right now. One is this pacifist view that says that we should never go to war, and war is always terrible, and it's never justified, and that America should never do anything abroad, and we should only focus at home. And none of that is a serious view. None of that has described U.S. policy going all the way back to, I don't know, the Louisiana Purchase in the first Barbary War. Not serious. Pacifism is not a serious moral position. It's not a serious political position. So forget that, okay? Then there are the war hawks who make these sweeping, grandiose, ideological and moral arguments that we must intervene everywhere from Iran to Iraq to Timbuktu. We must, on the abstract grounds of democracy or freedom, even on certain security grounds, we must do it. It's our obligation. I don't really take that all that seriously either. My view, and I might be the only one saying this, which is, it's very unpopular and therefore maybe true, is I think reasonable minds can disagree over the wisdom of going to war in Iran. There are strong arguments for doing it. It had been a part of U.S. grand strategy, and since 1979, at least really since 1953, to maintain or to install a friendly regime in Iran. Part of U.S. grand, there are strong arguments for doing it. It had of going to war in Iran. Reasonable minds.
You know when you're on, Holland.
Can disagree over the wisdom of going to war in Iran. There are strong arguments for doing it. It had been a part of U.S. grand strategy, and since 1979, at least really since 1953, to maintain or to install a friendly regime in Iran. We had wanted to do that for something like 80 years now. And Iran does pose a threat to us, and Iran is buddies with our geopolitical adversaries like Russia and China, and Iran does destabilize the Middle East, and our allies in the Middle East, not just Israel, but the Gulf states, want us to neutralize Iran, and there are all sorts of good arguments for it. And Iran would have hit us after the Israeli strike, and maybe we could have stopped the Israeli strike, maybe we can't stop the Israeli strike, and. However, I've said it, if I had been on the NSC, I would have made the arguments against the strike. Just based on the information that is available publicly, maybe there's classified information that would have changed my mind. But just going out, all I can go on is what I know. I would have made the argument against hitting Iran. Not because war is always bad, not because we should never be involved overseas, but because practically this is very hard to pull off. If anyone can do it, Trump can do it. He's got the best record on foreign policy of anyone in my lifetime, probably better than George H.W. Bush. Yes, if anyone can do it, he can do it. And if he does it well, it will be the greatest foreign policy achievement since the fall of the Berlin Wall. However, my view would have been Iran is not Venezuela. The regime is not very likely to fall. The mullahs have reigned in Iran twice as long as the CIA-backed regime after 1953. Despite all of the propaganda that we in part put out, Iran is not just this bubbling cauldron of liberalism and secularism. You know, the oppressed people of Iran want to rise up and overthrow their government. Some of them do, but probably 30 to 40% of the population likes their Islamic government. And because of our stupid immigration policies, it's going to create problems at home for us. So those would have been my arguments against the war in Iran. Now, again, there are very strong arguments for the war in Iran. And as President Trump has such a good record on foreign policy, I'm willing to give this guy some grace on it. And I think he has a lot of credibility on foreign policy. Trump said this strike, this military operation is going to take 5 weeks. We're only in day 13. But we're beginning to see these complications. Iran threatening the Strait of Hormuz, An American plane just went down over Iraq. Doesn't seem like it was shot down. It seems like there was some other issue. There's an investigation pending. That you're getting the bad optics out of the mistaken strike, which appears to be from the U.S., but it's still a little bit unclear on that school in Iran. You're seeing, and that now you're seeing increased terror attacks at home, which all could lead this war to spiral. If anyone's not going to let the war spiral, it's going to be Trump. But nevertheless, this shows you the complexity of war. It shows you that anyone on either side who tells you there can't be any upsides to this war, or, oh, it's going to be easy, it'll be over in 15 minutes. No one can really say that because no one really can predict the future. You just have to make risk assessments here. I would have come down a little bit on the side of risk aversion. The admin obviously came down a little bit on the side of willing to take the risk. We'll get to some updates on what's going on in Iran for a second.
Like
First, though, I want to tell you about Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com. This episode is sponsored by Balance of Nature. Does anyone else feel like nutrition is getting way too complicated? We used to eat food. Remember that? Now we eat a science experiment. I don't know. You need a PhD to read the back of a cereal box. We have all been told since we were kids to eat our fruits and veggies. Now,
this is a new control.
I force my own children to eat their fruits and veggies. Usually they want to. Nobody really explained what you're after in those foods. What you're after are the phytonutrients, the natural compounds your body uses to adjust, repair, and respond every single day. The more we've tried to improve food in factories, the further we've gotten from what your body actually recognizes as food. It's one of the reasons I love Balance of Nature. They take real produce, they run it through a tailored vacuum cold process that stabilizes its phytonutrition instead of nuking it with heat and chemicals. Their whole health system bundle includes fruits and veggies and fiber and spice supplements, giving you 47 ingredients of whole food and their phytonutrients in a simple, consistent routine. They even have freeze-dried snacks, which are fabulous. They're just delicious. Go to balanceofnature.com right now. Subscribe today, and you can join hundreds of thousands of customers in one simple routine that is changing the world, that is powering the Knowles household.
Well, it seems like we're not the only ones that think this game.
According to Daily Mail, there's a leaked U.S. intel which suggests that the Iranian government is not at risk of collapse. That its leadership remains broadly intact after almost 2 weeks of U.S. and Israeli bombing. Now, you could read this as a good thing. I know a lot of people, especially the hardcore war hawks and the liberals and the interventionists, they want a total revolution in Iran. They want to completely decimate the Iranian regime. Curiously, that is not exactly what Trump signaled that he wanted. On the one hand, he did. On the one hand, he said, hey, Iranians, rise up, take control of your country. But then on the other hand, he keeps making comparisons to Venezuela. Don't forget, in Venezuela, they did not replace the regime. They did something a little more conservative. They took out the top of the regime, then they put a gun to the head of number 2 and said, hey, you're going to cooperate with us, or we're going to blow your head off. Which is not the prettiest kind of foreign policy. It's not the most idealistic foreign policy, but it's worked out very well in Venezuela. And so there is a world in which you say, look, you don't want the whole Iranian Islamic regime to crumble. You just want it to cooperate more with us. But then here again, the theory collapses into the political reality. There is a world in which the end of this war leaves us with another Ayatollah Khamenei, because the guy that the Iranians just picked to be their next leader is the son of the guy we just took out. Now, it's a little unclear how injured that guy is, whether or not he's even still talking or walking or anything like that. However, he is currently the Ayatollah, the supreme leader of Iran. And so if at the end of this military campaign, you get another Ayatollah Khamenei, who's even angrier than the first guy because we just killed his dad and most of his family, that might not be great for the U.S. According to the new Ayatollah, says Iran will not refrain from avenging the blood of its martyrs. He's apparently in intensive care at Sina University Hospital in Tehran's historic quarter, surrounded by security officials. Makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the next target. We still have a few weeks of this thing left, probably. So the question then is, what does victory look like? And there are a few ways to declare victory. One would be the total removal of the regime, and you put in someone like Reza Pahlavi, the Crown Prince of Iran, son of the Shah, pro-Western. Great. Okay, that would be great. That would be a massive triumph. 1,000 ifs and ands and buts as to whether or not that could actually happen and whether keep the country together. But that would be great. If it worked out, that'd be great.
Behind us, man.
Or you have Iran basically keep the regime in place, but they're neutralized because we sink their navy and we get rid of all of their missiles and we bomb some of their oil and I don't know, we just really mess up their country. That's second best case scenario. Worst case scenario is we just irritate them, but we don't seriously cripple the regime. We don't seriously cripple their capabilities. This seems very unlikely, but in that case, certainly it was worse to go in than it would have been to refrain. So if the most likely scenario is number 2 right now, then the question is, how hard are we going to cripple? Even this is not totally clear. Because some people would say, go in there and just glass the place, just mess them up, so it's very hard for them to recover. There, however, you could risk Iran, the people of Iran, actually becoming further entrenched with the regime. If you take away their electricity, if you take away their ability to eat
teammate and what's an enemy.
Themselves,
There's a name above them.
Heat their homes.
It's an enemy.
You could be in a really bad position here. But if you don't weaken them enough, now you've just irritated a guy and killed his dad, and you're going to have to face more problems. So here's President Trump weighing those different possibilities.
Very good shape. The main thing is we have to win this thing, win it quickly, but win it. And there are many people, I'm just watching some of the news, most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we stop? We don't want to let it regrow. And ideally would like to see somebody in there that knows what they're doing. In other words, they can build a country. Now, one other thing, we can hit sections of Tehran and other places that if you do it, it'll be almost impossible for them to rebuild their country. And we don't want that. But we can hit electric, we could take apart their electric capacity within 1 hour, and it would take them 25 years to rebuild it. So ideally, we're not going to be doing that. Thank you very much.
I love the way he talks. I love, talk about cool, calm, and collected. As we said at the very outset of the Iran war, this is the highest stakes thing that this man has done in 10 years. This is not just Venezuela. This is not just dropping the Moab. This is a major assault on a real country that is the most destabilizing force in the Middle East that's been a thorn in our side for many decades now. And this guy goes in there for real. Says this isn't going to be a 5-hour or a 5-day campaign. This could be a 5-week campaign. He goes in and it's starting to get shaky and he's planting mines in the Strait of Hormuz, and the price of oil is going through the roof, and it goes up to 115, and it goes down to 76, and it goes up to 90, and it's all over the place. Serious risk of a global recession because of this military action. Small, but nonetheless real terror attacks popping off at home because of this. And this guy remains cool as a cucumber. And he reminds us, and this is, I have to remind people too, I'm quite skeptical of the intervention in Iran. He said it was going to take 5 weeks. I don't start freaking out.
4-shot kill if it takes.
He said it's going to take 5 weeks.
As fast as a
under
fucking
2 weeks
pistol.
right now. And the way he speaks, he says, "Look, this is how you reconcile the two comments coming out of the White House. One, the war is basically over. Two, we've just begun to fight," which is what the Department of War put. Those are not contradictory statements. They're the same statement. Trump just said them both right there. He said, "Look, some say the war's already over. We've already achieved our objective." What exactly is the objective? What exactly does victory look like? It's a little bit of a moving target. There are a few options for that. But yes, it could almost be over. And also, we haven't really begun to fight. Look, Iran, we could obliterate your country. And I'm not talking about dropping nuclear weapons. I'm saying we could hit your electricity grid. You would be in trouble for years. You would not seriously be able to build back for years. We don't want to do it. We could do it. We don't want to do it. We're very restrained right now. Maybe we won't be so restrained. It's up to you. That is the way that you would speak. Some people are reading this as vacillating or desperate or whatever. No. Trump said out the gate, this is going to take a little over a month. Do you really think, if you open with that claim, that there are not contingency plans, that this is not part of an operation. We're in, what is it, day 13. So it's a very, very bumpy ride. No one said otherwise. But at this point, the arguments to say, well, we just really shouldn't have gone to war. It was just a really bad idea. That's totally useless. Totally useless. We're in it now. How does it work out? What is the best move? What does victory look like? What do we want the next year, 5 years, 10 years in the Middle East to look like? Those are the pertinent questions right now. But that's it. No, I really hate the abstractions and the hypotheticals and the ideology that comes into politics. And unfortunately, I've been a little tough on my fellow podcasters recently. With right-wing podcasters like we have, who needs the left? They're just very unhelpful in many ways. And when it comes to trying to win the midterms, trying to achieve political results, they go on all sorts of digressions and abstractions and weird rabbit holes, and it doesn't really serve any political purpose. It gets a lot of views. It's titillating, it's scintillating, it's trash TV, but it doesn't serve real political goals. The question that I have is, get rid of this stupid ideology nonsense. Here's the real politics here. What happens next? What do we do now? How do we achieve real political results? This is, obviously a lot of people, we're all still reeling from the death of Charlie. The American right is seriously reeling from the death of Charlie. Assassinations work, that's why people keep doing them, and it had a very deleterious effect. It's not just on Charlie, his friends, and his family, but on the American right. But one of the many things I always loved and admired about Charlie, that guy cared about real politics. He didn't care about debate. He conducted political debates for a purpose. He didn't care about stupid, abstract, hypothetical, what if that, what if this. He cared about real politics. What do we do now? This is a guy, he would make strong arguments against some policy to the president. But then, whatever the president decided, then he goes in. And he tries to work it, he defends it, he tries to keep the coalition together. He just really got real politics. And unfortunately, a lot of the influencer, podcaster, live streamer, and even activist class just either doesn't get it or doesn't care. Very, very frustrating if you want to see real political results. Okay, speaking of debates and religion, there's a lot of big religious component to the Iran war. Great new survey out of Pew. Really vindicates being a conservative and a Christian. Not that it needs to be vindicated, but it really vindicates that over being a secular lib. We'll get to that survey, but first, I want to tell you about Policy Genius. Go to policygenius.com/Noel. When the weather finally starts to thaw, the days get a little longer, people do all sorts of spring cleaning. You clear out your closet. You tackle that junk drawer. Maybe you venture into the garage. But the most important spring cleaning is not in your house at all. It's in your long-term to-do list, protecting the life that you are building and the people who depend on you. That responsibility can feel very weighty, can feel overwhelming. It should not be. The insurance jargon, the tax receipts, this is where Policy Genius comes in. They help you finally check this off your list. Policy Genius is an online insurance marketplace that lets you compare quotes from some of America's top insurers side by side for free, so you can see the coverage amounts, the prices, the terms without any guesswork, just clarity. They work for you, not the insurance companies. It's going to get you what you need. Then you get that peace of mind. You're going to sleep better for the rest of your life. You're not going to have to worry about it again. Just get it done right now. Now is the season. Best day was yesterday, second best day is today. Protect the life you built with Policy Genius. See if you can find 20-year life insurance policy starting at just $276 a year for $1 million in coverage. Go to policygenius.com/Knowles. Compare life insurance quotes from top companies. See how much you could save. policygenius.com/Knowles. Pew survey going around Twitter right now. And I think these are relatively older data, but it's making the rounds yet again, maybe because religion is in the news. This is according to the Pew American Trends panel, and it shows that conservative Christians who go to church, go to religious services weekly, but in America, generally that means going to church, are the least crazy people in the country. And liberals who don't go to church are the craziest people in the country. The question is, as a doctor or other healthcare provider, ever told you that you have a mental health condition? They ever told you? And when you look, it divides it between liberal, moderate, and conservative, and also by religious service attendance. Never go to church, seldom, yearly, monthly, weekly. The craziest people in the country, 28% have had a doctor diagnose them with a mental condition. 28% are libs who never go to church. The next craziest people in the country, libs who sometimes go to church. The next craziest people in the country, libs who go to church monthly. Now, it's a religious service, so it could be some woo-woo kind of lib thing. Keep that in mind, because liberal churches are not real. They're not real churches. They're these heretical, schismatic sects that promote infanticide and creepy sex stuff. So even to call that a church is kind of silly. The next craziest people in the country, libs who go to church once a year. Only at this point do you start to get, okay, the next craziest group. Sorry, no. The next craziest group are moderates who never go to church. Then the libs who go to church once a year. Then it breaks down. You all the way get down to the conservatives who go to church weekly. 8%. I've had a healthcare provider say they have a mental condition. So what does this mean? Do we just use this to dunk on the libs and the atheists? We can do that a little bit. Not like we dunk out of love. It's a loving dunk. It's a dunk intended to, bring them over to our side. This is also just a vindication of John, Gospel according to St. John, chapter 1, the very first verses. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word here being the Logos, the divine logic of the universe. The Gospel of St. John begins, unlike the Synoptic Gospels, the Gospel of St. John begins.
Dude, I'm just getting caught on tables, lights. Like, what the fuck is this game, dude?
God himself, Christ is the Word, is the Logos, is the divine logic of the universe. And God, and he is God. God is the divine logic of the universe. So faith and reason go together. That would seem to be backed up by this survey. What we were told during New Atheism and really for the last 100 years or so, more than 100 years, is that religious people are crazy. They're illogical. They're irrational. They believe in their sky daddy. All these straw men nonsense descriptions of religion. Because the secularists and the atheists don't want to deal with what we actually do. But that's what we're told. These religious people, they're crazy. I don't want to vote for some religious person. He's crazy. Actually, the data say the opposite. The religious people are the sanest people. The irreligious people are the craziest people. Among the religious people, the conservatives, you can't really break it down as conservative or liberal, but let's just recognize that really maps onto the most orthodox versus the most heterodox. The most orthodox religious people, the ones who believe the religion most accurately, most fully, those people are the least crazy people in the country. So when we're talking about this country, we're not talking about Islam. We're talking a little bit about Judaism, but Judaism is a real minority religion. We're talking about Christianity. The conservative Christians are the least crazy people in the country, clinically speaking. And the atheist libs are the craziest people in the country. Which is a vindication of the claims of Orthodox religion. The one of the chief claims being that God is the divine logic of the universe. I know that these are, it seems like I'm preaching to the choir, and you know what, the choir needs preaching sometimes. But this could be an evangelical kind of argument. Because I think a lot of people, like me, when I fell away from religion for 10 years, fell away because I thought religion was for stupid people. Only stupid people believed in God. And the smart people knew that God didn't exist. And that just isn't true. The sane people, they didn't believe in God. But the crazy people, they believe in that isn't true. Actually, the opposite is true. It's a good argument. I love that. I love that poll. Okay, before we get to the mailbag, I must get to the UK, removing Winston Churchill from the banknotes. Really, really frustrating. They're removing a bunch of figures from the banknotes. That includes Jane Austen. I guess she was on there. That includes, anyway, some other big figures, but notably Winston Churchill. This is based on a public consultation held in 2025, revealing that people thought nature would be the most popular theme for money. So you're going to replace Winston Churchill, one of the great figures in your 1,000-year national history, with a hedgehog. And doesn't that seem nice? 60% of respondents chose nature, animals, ahead of architecture and landmarks, the Parliament Building, or Westminster, Canterbury Cathedral. Notable historical figures, arts, culture and sport, innovation, or noteworthy milestones. So they're removing Churchill in part because he's controversial, because Churchill defended the British Empire, because Churchill believed in the superiority of British people over other peoples. Maybe not the moral superiority, the ultimate superiority, but the cultural superiority. He said things that were a little edgy. According to Harold Macmillan's diaries, he apparently endorsed a slogan for running for office, which was "Keep Britain White," and you weren't allowed to say that. Now, certainly, maybe then you were allowed to. The Brits are white people, so I don't know why. I mean, England is the country of the Angles. Angles and the Saxons and the Normans come in. But anyway, you're not allowed to say that. He has to be canceled because he's controversial. Because they don't like his policies in India or whatever. This man, one of the saviors of the United Kingdom, going to be taken off the money. And he's going to be replaced by not some left-wing political figure, but by a hedgehog, by an animal. And so what's really worse than this, what's really worse than this being the replacement of the right with the left, is it's just the infantilization of the whole society. This is worse than evil or immoral or worse than, ideologically backwards. It's worse than all that because it's insipid. This is what you do to children. A serious civilization puts its leaders on money, puts its achievements on money, not just money, on any monument, recognizes what it has done, understands not only its history, but the meaning of its history, has a point of view about its history, and only in so doing has a vision for its future. Children want to play with the hedgehogs. An adult society puts Winston Churchill on its money. A toy game, children's Monopoly puts Mickey Mouse on the money. And the UK is saying, we want Mickey Mouse, give us Mickey Mouse. That's the deeper problem here. At least when you have these stupid debates in America, should we replace Andrew Jackson with Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill? First of all, no, we shouldn't. But second of all, at least that's a debate. At least Harriet Tubman is a political figure, really more mythical than historical, but whatever, she's a political figure nonetheless. At least there you're having a debate about ideas and the meaning of American history and what we're going to be moving forward. And with this, it's just you're going to put a mongoose on the dollar, on the pound. And I know some would say, well, look, in British heraldry, the animals play a role, the family crests and things like that. Yeah, but that's not what they're doing. They're not going to be putting family crests on them. They just kicked all of the hereditary aristocrats out of the House of Lords, like yesterday. This is the infantilization of the country.
Whoa, what the fuck is
a country that doesn't believe in the meaning of its history, doesn't believe in its future. What you're going to get on the banknotes is going to be a little bit different. It won't be Mohammed because you're not allowed to have pictures of Mohammed, but it will. I don't know. Maybe they'll put the Ayatollah. Maybe the new Ayatollah is going to be on the banknotes in the UK. Okay. Hey, do you want to hear what Ben Shapiro and Andrew Clegg, one of my pals here at Daily Wire, think about?
What do you think about England
and the stupid
replacing
podcaster
Churchill
wars, which I hate so much, and the Oscars? And you want to hear what they think? Maybe not, but you want to hear what I think, and then me tell them why they're wrong about what they think? Well, the only way to do it is to watch Friendly Fire live today, 2 p.m. Eastern,
Churchill?
only on DailyWire.com and the Daily Wire Plus app. You understand? You have to get the Daily Wire Plus app. I'm not begging you. I'm not going to lower myself to that. I'm inviting you to get the Daily Wire Plus app. It's an amazing experience. You can follow me on there, get notifications. We've got cool stuff coming out. You can go
Like
get it.
instead
The
of
other
having
one's out
Churchill
right
on the dollar bill,
My favorite comment yesterday is
they're
from Christian Gamer Guy
replacing it with
6447, who says, I really need to see a conglomeration of clips of Michael being silly while mocking someone. It would be awesome out of context. I didn't pick this. The producers picked this comment. I didn't pick the comment. I don't know. Do I really go back to that and see
Fucking
if I
hedgehog, dude.
comment? Conglomeration of being silly while mocking someone. What do you mean I would mock someone? No. Do you mean someone like Professor Jacob, or do you mean someone like James Tallarico? I don't know. Sometimes I do that, occasionally. During the Fauci years, I got it. Finally, we arrive at my favorite time of the week when I get here for you in the mailbag. Our mailbag is sponsored by Pure Talk and puretalk.com/NoelScanner. You will get 50% off your first month. Take it away.
Hey Michael, it's Isaac. A question about the war with Iran. I can see why people, including yourself, felt like it wasn't a wise move to go in. Yet we went ahead and did so. But what do you think about the folks who I would consider are on the alt-right, or maybe what some refer to the new right, calling the United States a terrorist nation for going into Iran, or bombing parts of Iran? What are your thoughts about that? All right, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's not a serious position, because what it means is not only do whoever is making it, and not only do they not understand what you're doing in Iran, but they don't even understand the meaning of terrorism. Terrorism targets civilians to achieve a political end. That's what terrorism is. Terrorism is not accidentally hitting civilians while conducting war. Every belligerent who has ever engaged in war, more or less, does that. It's a sad fact. Terrorism is when you target civilians to achieve a political purpose. Ironically, that is what Iran has done, and has brazenly done, openly done. There's no secret, there's no debate over it. That's what Iran has done since 1979, which is why Iran has always had one foot in the global order and one foot outside of it. In some ways, it resembles a legitimate nation state. In some ways, it appears to be an illegitimate terror organization. Whereas the United States has uniformed soldiers. We target military targets, not civilians. We abide by the rules of war. There's no way to make that argument. So that's just not a serious argument. Sometimes people will say, you know, why don't you debate so-and-so? That's some mouthy lunatic on Twitter or YouTube or something. And occasionally I do it because it can be fun clips. But often I will say, well, why would I do that? I'm not a free speech absolutist. I'm not one of these people who thinks we just constantly need to grow the public marketplace of ideas. I don't think that's true. I think marketplaces need limits. And I think that one does not want, one wants a healthy debate and dialogue. One doesn't want cacophony like in a sandbox at a playground. You know, there's no point in debating a toddler. And so to have a debate with someone who doesn't even have the capacity to understand what is happening, or the willingness to understand what's happening, that's not serious. There are lots of good arguments against going to war in Iran.
Say, oh, the U.S. is a terrorist nation, and war is always evil, and
it's just very silly. It's not. Okay, next question.
2 hits, 120
Hello,
damage.
Michael. This is Landon Ford, your resident member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. While the Church prefers to refrain from overtly supporting political parties or candidates, the values it promotes causes most of my religious brothers and sisters to be some flavor of right-wing, at the very least the majority of the politically active ones. However, in the past few years, during these same time periods, the right has gained ground against the godless left, my contemporaries have noticed an increase in religious hatred from the right. The worst of which appears in events like last September, where a Michigan man burned down one of our churches, slaughtered our people, even though he likely submitted a very similar ballot to his victims. This leads many of my brethren to prefer candidates who appear moderate and end up being more squishy, or to throw their votes away on third-party long shots. My question for you, Michael, is twofold. Do you make the case for why we Latter-day Saints should continue to support the right, and what can the right do to promote interfaith cooperation when the need for religion has never been higher in this nation?
Good question. Yeah, I've seen that a little bit too. I mean,
like I'm
you
playing
know,
two
the
different
Mormon
games.
jokes have been around basically as long as that religion has been around. So I'm sure it's deeply
I had 2
unpleasant
missiles
if
on the
you're,
tank.
LDS, but
they take
you know
100
that's not
damage.
new. Sometimes it gets a little hotter, sometimes it's less hot, and there's this
doesn't even make sense.
paradox, which is that when people don't take religion seriously, you're going to be pilloried and mocked and derided, but when people do take religion seriously, your religion is going to be examined, and so religious differences are going to become more pronounced and hotter. So, you know, you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. Politically speaking, not eternally. However, what do we do about this? Why should Mormons keep voting for the right? I don't know. I would say well, as I have said to my LDS friends, you're not going to vote for the left. You're not going to vote for the left. They want to put all of us in the gulags. They want to put us all on boxcars. So you're obviously not voting for the left. You're not voting for infanticide and weird sex stuff and open borders, and you're not voting for anything. So then what do you do when some people on the right are prejudiced or opposed to your religion? Well, I would say one thing the right could do is just emphasize its long-standing commitment to subsidiarity. So, you know, Protestant Midwest or South or Catholic Northeast might not agree with, or Jewish New York might not agree with the LDS religion, but I don't think they're going to go invade Utah, are they? So recognition that, you know, different localities are going to look a little bit different. That's one way that I think the right could, without betraying her principles, actually digging even deeper into her own principles, could ease some of those fears. I think there's always going to be a tension. You don't want to live in the secular liberal society. You guys are done for if in the secular liberal society. But you are going to have challenges in a society that takes religion more seriously because they're going to examine the claims of the various religions. Okay, next question.
Hi, Michael. My name is Jessica. I come from a small town down in South Texas. And I was raised heavily in a church, mainly non-denominational Methodist. My mother is currently working on a doctorate from the Methodist University in theology, so safe to say I was heavily ingrained in biblical teaching. I've been attending a Catholic church for the past year, and I am now considering beginning my catechism. Of course, my Methodist family is pretty against this. So what would your advice be to someone who is battling in the face of opposition from those that she holds most dear? And how do I show respect and devotion to my mother and father while still pursuing my love for God? Any advice would be helpful. Thank you so much.
Great question. Wonderful to hear it. I'm so glad you're going to begin catechism. I've had plenty of friends who have dealt with this. In my own life, actually, I was a cradle Catholic, kind of cafeteria level growing up, and then cafeteria Catholic meaning you take this, you do that. Sometimes you go to church, sometimes you don't. But I was an atheist practically for about 10 years. And when I came back, even some of my own ostensibly Catholic family thought I was crazy. So it's not even just going from the Methodism or non-denominational evangelical Protestantism. It really even within Catholicism, you might get some strange looks and raised eyebrows. So what do you do?
Infantryman.
Well, this is where catechism is really great. You keep going to mass, you keep praying. When you have a question, look, your relatives might raise really good questions. Why do Catholics pray to Mary or venerate saints? Or why do they have liturgical feast days? Or why do they take the sacraments so seriously? What is transubstantiation? Whatever. They might raise good objections. What's great about Catholic Church is there are answers. You're not just on your own. A lot of modern religion is hyper-individualist and relies ultimately on private judgment. So you have to just kind of come up with your own answers.
Are you gonna go tomorrow for the
Catholic
basketball?
Church, it balances private judgment with magisterial teaching. So you can say, look, I have my own ideas, but I'm going to go see what St. Jerome and St. Thomas Aquinas,
It's usually early in the morning,
maybe Origen,
9
and
o'clock.
Hippolytus, and all these, Justin
And we
Martyr.
go till, like,
I want
around,
to see
like,
what all
12.
these people say, and the popes, and these guys, and what's endured, and how has this idea been honed in? St. John Henry Newman, I don't know, development of doctrine. Let's see what they say. And you can actually get an answer, and that will help you grow in your faith. That's great. I mean, I think you're on the right path, obviously. I'm quite convinced of that. But you could use it as an opportunity to more seriously understand what you believe, what the church believes, and who knows, maybe persuade your family. Next question.
Smooth Mickey. Hey, I just want to ask you a question about
Whoa.
cloning. Now, obviously there's geneticists thinking about cloning humans, which I totally disagree with. I think it's playing God and it's very messed up. I would love to get your thoughts on that, but on a separate note, what about cloning animals? Animals aren't humans, they don't have rational wills. So is it okay to clone your dog when they pass away and, you know, clone them into a new puppy? Just curious about your thoughts. All right, thanks, man.
Great questions. Okay, so for the first one, why is it wrong to clone humans? Why is that wrong, necessarily? Say, well, because we're playing God. But, you know, that argument's a little tricky because we have reason and we do have substantial agency within nature to do things and to make things. So why is it wrong to clone? We make babies the old-fashioned way. Why is it wrong to clone human beings? I think what you have to start to examine is all the wrong things you have to do before you get to the point of cloning. So for one, you have to divorce the conjugal from the reproductive act. If you're a more traditionally minded Christian,
Do the developers like think to themselves like, oh yeah, we did a good job when they put this map out?
Right in procreation is the baby to have the right to be the product of the specific conjugal act of his mother and father who are joined together in a whole matrimony. So right there, you got a problem. In order to obtain, I guess it depends on how you do it, but in order to obtain the sperm and the egg, certainly the sperm, you would have to commit a gravely immoral and intrinsically disordered action. That right there is a sin. You would have to then commoditize human life. That would be a sin. You would, and ultimately the reason is you would be empowering scientists and entrepreneurs. You would be giving them domination through technology and science and commerce over the origin and destiny of human life, which is not their right to do. But usually when things get really wacky, like we're talking about cloning, it's not just that you go from normal, ordinary moral society to this tricky moral question and then it all goes wrong. There's a path. And the path, this is the phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The path involves all these little moral compromises. Well, you know, look, it's just, maybe it's a little easier these days not to constantly have kids brood like rabbits. So maybe we'll accept some contraception in some cases for married couples. That's what the mainline Protestants did about 100 years ago. That's what the Supreme Court then permitted more recently, actually, in the late 60s, early 70s. And okay, maybe we're going to, look, some couples suffer from infertility, in part because they've been using contraception too long. But in some cases, it's just natural. It just happens. It's fallen rule. And so, you know, just to help ease their pain, which is real pain, maybe we're going to allow people to use IVF and surrogates. Then we're going to need surrogates. We're going to have to, you know, we're going to have to buy eggs and rent the wombs of women. And you know, it's not good. We're doing so much good, aren't we? You know, the ends justify the means, don't they? And eventually, you get to human cloning. So how did we get here? How did we get here? Because you made a lot of bad decisions along the way that were very tempting. Sin is very tempting. That's how it works. If sin were not tempting, you wouldn't do it. Okay, so then to cloning the animals. Is there anything intrinsically wrong with cloning the animals? I'm not a serious bioethicist or anything like that, but I don't see anything intrinsically wrong with cloning animals. As you point out, they don't have rational souls. They're not, I guess you could do it. But I do think there's something wrong with it at a deeper level. The question is, why are you doing it? When you can make animals the old-fashioned way, why would you clone them? And the answer is because you really love your dog and you wish your dog didn't die. So you want to clone your dog to pretend that your dog didn't die. That's really why people want it. In the 90s, they were cloning sheep to see if they could, but really what they want to do now is they want to clone their pets because they don't want their pets to die. That seems wrong. And I think it's wrong because it is the way to delude yourself into denying the reality of death and our role as creatures living in time and space, where things in this world pass away. That's what's wrong about it. It's really even the reason that animal cruelty is wrong. It's not wrong exactly because animals have rights, you know, akin to natural rights or human rights, but it's wrong because it deadens your own humanity. It has a deleterious effect on you, who is a rational soul. Okay. Today, that's a very good question. Today is Fake Headline Friday. The rest of the show continues now. You do not want to miss it. Become a member. Use code NOLSKN at WLAS at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans.
Oh my god.
We need attack support on the marked objective.
Fucking loser, man. Like, I love how their player can kill me, but our teammate chasing him can't kill him.
What have you ever done for them? Every time I see him on TV, he's talking about Israel, how concerned he is for Israel. What about the people in the state that elected you? What are you doing for them? Anything? What are you doing for them? That should be what you're worried about. Like, why are you even focused on this? You're a senator from South Carolina. Your first focus shouldn't even just be the United States generally. It should be South Carolina. What is going on in South Carolina? We here on the Matt Welch Show believe it's important to stay healthy, and one of the most essential components to your overall health is having a healthy liver. Your liver is your body's ultimate filter, works overtime processing everything you consume while juggling over 500 daily functions, energy production, digestion, and more. But if it gets overworked, you really feel it. And that's where our sponsor, Dose for Your Liver, comes in. Dose is a clinically backed supplement that comes in a daily 2-ounce shot, helps cleanse your liver of unwanted stressors that are slowing it down, and supports your daily liver functions so everything can run smoothly. As a bonus, it actually tastes good, like that fresh squeezed orange juice, not some chocolate pill that can choke down. Ready to give your liver the support it deserves? Head to dosedaily.co/Walsh or enter Walsh to get 35% off your first subscription. Your body does so much for you. Let's do something for it. That's DOSELY.co/Walsh for 35% off your first month.
That's fucking sick.
All right.
I want to see that.
Daily Mail headline. Gavin Newsom's wife and her firm pocketed $3.7 million from her gender stereotypes charity, unearthed IRS filings reveal, days after her sanctimonious rant at the press. It says Jennifer Sable Newsom stole the spotlight at her husband's Planned Parenthood press conference last month. She scolded reporters for not asking enough about the war on women. But now financial filings obtained by the firm now suggest the first partner of California may have to answer some tough questions of her own. IRS documents from recent years show Gavin Newsom's wife has been paying herself and her company, Girls Club LLC. Her company is called Girls Club LLC. Up to a third of her nonprofit's entire income each year, pocketing over $3.7 million over the past decade. So a third of the income goes to her.
The entire game.
The organization brings in about $1 million to $1.7 million a year in grants and donations, with roughly $300,000 of it going straight to her and her company in recent years. Okay, I mean, the main reason I'm reading this story is because of the term first partner of California.
With 8 assists.
As to the stuff about the charity, yeah, obviously it's a scam. there are plenty of charities and nonprofits out there that are legit and that actually do good work. There are also plenty of scams, plenty of organizations that exist to enrich the people who run them, and that's not news. But even there, it's like if you're gonna donate your money to Gavin Newsom's wife's nonprofit, then you deserve to get scammed. Like, part of me is like, I hope she steals all of it, because you just deserve to be scammed. You deserve to be scammed out of every dollar you own, if that's what if that's how you're gonna spend your money. You're gonna give it to the woman who runs the Girls Club LLC. It's a nonprofit that deals with gender stereotypes. It's like, okay, yeah, you deserve to be scammed. You deserve to be bankrupted, okay, and scammed. That's what you deserve. But back to first partner, I have to say that I think I hate the term. Obviously, they're using first partner rather than first lady. I think I hate the term partner referring to a spouse more than I hate any other woke. In a lot of ways, it's less aggressive and less gratuitous than many of the other terms that they use. But this one I find, it just hits nails on the chalkboard. I hate it more than I hate like people with uteruses or whatever, any birthing person. But it's also a useful term because it tells me everything I need to know about you. If I'm talking to you and you use the word partner instead of wife, I immediately know everything about you. I can judge your entire life. Your entire life. They say don't judge a book by its cover. I don't even need the cover. I just need that word. I can judge, I can judge your entire life, everything about you, based on that. I know you're an insufferable, emasculated, pretentious dork. Okay, I know you're the biggest loser on the planet if you're using the word partner. Never call your spouse a partner. Forget about first partner, referring to a first lady. That's obviously woke nonsense, but just partner by itself is terrible. I mean, partner, it's a word you use for somebody you're in business with. Okay, if you say partner to me, you better be talking about your colleague at your law firm or something. This actually happened to me recently. This is the kind of thing, I don't encounter it in the wild very often because I just don't surround myself with these kinds of people. But somewhat recently, I was talking to somebody and they actually said partner. Like, they weren't even trying to make it a joke. They were said it unironically. They weren't trying to be funny. They said partner, referring to their wife. And I was kind of blindsided because up to that moment, it seemed like kind of a normal guy. And then he just drops partner on me. And it was a very clarifying moment. So that's good. When you prioritize your health, you're investing in your ability to show up fully, think clearly,
like if you do decide to
through whatever life throws your way. Take charge of your health with our sponsor, Armra Colostrum. Armra Colostrum taps into nature's original superfood packed with over 400 bioactive nutrients that strengthen your gut, boost your immune system from the inside out. Unlike probiotics that only address one piece of the puzzle, colostrum strengthens your entire gut wall system, easing bloating and supporting healthy digestion. The result is a stronger immune system, healthier metabolism, and noticeable improvements in your hair and skin. We've worked out a special offer for my audience. Receive 30% off your first subscription order. Go to armra.com/Walsh or enter Walsh to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's armra.com/Walsh. Here's a guy who definitely calls his wife partner, I would assume. David French, he just wrote an article for the New York Times that is the most David Frenchian article that's ever been composed. This is David French reaching his final form. This is him becoming the final form that he will be. And this is the article we all knew was coming. The one where he defends and praises the liberal heretic James Tallarico. So remember James Tallarico, we talked about him last week. He won the Senate primary over Jasmine Crockett. And he's a Christian, supposedly, quote unquote. He's a seminarian. He loves talking about
the map glitch.
But he's a heretic. He's a blasphemer. He supports abortion up to birth. He supports child castration, transgenderism, everything down the list. He claims that the Bible agrees with him. He says that God is non-binary. He uses apocryphal texts like the Gospel of Thomas to support his theological claims. He says that Jesus was a radical feminist. On and on. He's a heretic. Full on. No other way to describe him. But David French, the alleged conservative, the alleged Christian, he loves the guy. And so here he is in the New York Times. This is what he wrote. The title is, James Tallarico is a Christian X-ray. He says, these days I'm asked about James Tallarico more than I'm asked about any politician not named Donald Trump. Tallarico is a 36-year-old Texas state representative and the latest and greatest hope for winning, the Democrat Party's latest greatest hope for winning its first statewide election there in more than 30 years. He's also one of the most faith-forward politicians in the United States. Tallarico doesn't just root his policies and ideology and his Christian beliefs, he's a seminarian willing to dive deep into theology. When he's arguing with the religious right about, say, Christian nationalism, he makes a specifically Christian argument to counter a poisonous Christian movement.
Yeah, this game feels like it's dying.
Tallarico said in a sermon in 2023, Christian nationalism controls. Jesus saves. Christian nationalism kills. Jesus started a universal movement based on mutual love. Christian nationalism is a sectarian movement based on mutual hate. David French says the same thing applies to his discussions about specific government policies.
Two maps.
Their arguments about immigration and abortion in Scripture. So does Tallarico. Blah, blah, blah. He continues, when I hear Tallarico speak about faith, I alternate between agreement and disagreement. He's spot on about the dangers of Christian nationalism, and yet I can't help but respond to his arguments about the relative priority of abortion by asking, why can't we do it all? Provide high-quality health care, welcome immigrants, and protect the unborn. That's hardly the only disagreement between us. Those disagreements are to be expected. Tallarico is a political and religious progressive. I'm a political and religious conservative. But focusing on those disagreements misses the reason I'm asked so much about it. Tallarico isn't just making arguments, he's giving people hope. And I think I know why. And then he goes on to say that the primary American divide is between decent and indecent. And in this equation, Tallarico shines. Put another way, Tallarico is one of the few openly Christian politicians in the United States who acts like a Christian. And by acting like a Christian, he reveals a profound contrast with so many members of the MAGA Christian movement that's dominated American political life for 10 years. Okay, so, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, this thing's long. And that's the first thing. I mean, my God, how boring. I mean, David French has been writing the same article over and over again for 10 years. The same thing, because he has this long, he goes into this long discourse about Trump and how Trump's, all the bad things about Trump. He's been doing the same thing for 10 years. Republicans aren't decent, they follow Trump, Trump is bad, Democrats are the decent ones. Same thing for 10 years. Never mind that it's wrong, it's just boring. And that is the case with 95% of political analysis, by the way. It's not just David French. I mean, he's one of the worst offenders, but it's not just him. 95% of political analysis is just people saying the same thing over and over and over again. And some of that is unavoidable. I know I repeat myself. Some of it is just a hazard of the trade. But I try to talk about a wide range of topics. I try to find new angles to explore. I try to go deep into subjects and give you maybe some information or a perspective that you hadn't heard yet. Try to. But guys like David French, they're not even trying. I mean, he's like a tribute band. He's like a cover band playing the hits. And they're not even hits. But the reason why this is happening is because, like, but the one change that you find with David French and people like him, obviously Bill Kristol,
Andrew Tate is on your side or whatever,
is that although they're saying
there's enemy fire and he shoves you against the enemy fire, what are you doing?
Printing and reprinting the same indictment of Trump
trying to get it
over and over. There is zero difference between the articles they're writing about Trump in 2026 and the ones they wrote in 2016. It's the same.
It's not even like.
And they could say, well, yeah, I still object to Trump. Yeah, I get it. Like we know, you told us. You've told us. We get it. We do. I promise you. We understand your point.
But dog, he's top G, dog.
We understand it, though. You said it. We get it. Okay. Thank you. The only change that you're seeing with these guys is that they are becoming more and more overtly liberal. I mean, Bill Kristol is just a full-on leftist at this point. And that's a change that you have to, that is inevitable. You kind of have to do it because the reality is that Trump, and this is what, like, David French is terrified of, as much as he pretends to hate Trump. Trump will not be on the national stage for very much longer. He is going to be term limited, and he is going to be out of the White House, you know, and in a couple of years. And that's going to be it. I mean, he'll still be out there. He'll be, you know, certainly giving his opinion and all those kinds of things. But he's going to be an ex-president. He's going to be a former president, and that's what he's going to be. And for someone like David French, when your whole career is just complaining about Trump, what are you going to do? I mean, in 2030, is David French still going to be writing New York Times op-eds about how Trump is bad? Part of me wouldn't put it past him. Maybe that is what he's going to do. But really what's happening is they realize
If you got paid $300 million to snipe Andrew Tate, would you do it?
After Trump, and so the safest thing at this point, like they can't go back to being actual conservatives. So you know the only move is just to become full on died in the wool leftist Democrats, and that's what they're doing.
Damn, you're evil.
And that's what this is. But as to the article itself, I mean, it's absolute nonsense. David knows that. He just still, to this point, refuses
You're fucking evil.
of being a pro-life Christian conservative. And will drop it. But he hasn't. And so we have to endure the absurdity of somebody who is allegedly pro-life claiming that a radically pro-abortion heretic who uses the Bible to push the murder of babies is somehow decent. Yeah, he supports killing babies.
You exercise today or
says God is okay with it.
No.
But he's a decent guy.
Saturday. Usually Thursdays and Saturdays I take off.
I mean, he uses the story, he uses the nativity, he uses the story of Christ's birth as an argument for abortion.
Probably fine enough to do them today.
But he does it in a decent way.
Yeah.
How does that work, David? How does that work? How could it be advocating for baby murder and heresy in a decent way? What does that mean? What do you think decent means? It is not possible to decently push for the murder of babies. It is not possible to decently preach heresy and blasphemy. It's not possible to decently blaspheme God by saying he's non-binary. It's not possible to decently advocate for the castration
I shot him like
mutilation of
maybe
children.
200 times
There's no decent version
with the gun, and then I banned him.
There's no
So what do you think happened?
There's no compassionate version. There's no nice version.
So you think he's
There's
cheating?
No charitable version.
I don't care if he isn't. That shouldn't
There's
be
no
allowed.
Christian
I don't
version.
care if it's the game's fault. We get it.
So what David wants us to believe is that if one guy
that wouldn't happen
for
to me
dismembering babies,
if you put 10 lives, 10 amount,
which is James
10
Talerico's
times the amount of health on
Nice.
in an helicopter.
He believes in
What's that happen?
But if he does that, and he does it in a nice and
I
measured way,
guess so, dude.
but then another guy advocates for protecting babies and does it in an angry way.
You're so low, dude.
Well, the first guy is decent, and the second guy is indecent. So David says that the line is between decent and indecent, which again has been this has been his talking point for 10 years. But somehow the baby killers and the child mutilators are on the
First of all, I hit
decent
him
side,
with a missile.
which is impossible. David, what do you
Still
think
had
decent
more than
means?
half
I go back to that
health,
question
and then I
again.
shot him.
What do you think it means?
I probably held
Do you think it just
on
means
his
polite?
helicopter.
What the hell do you think it means?
Like
What is
hitting it, I
decent
could
about
see
James Talerico?
physically that I was hitting it.
Everything he says is horrifying. He says the most horrifying things. He's advocating for genocidal violence against innocent, against children, against the unborn.
You must be
Which
so
you must agree with that if
annoyed.
you're pro-life, supposedly. He's advocating for mass murder of babies. What are you talking? What's decent about it? I'm listening to him, and I'm like shaken to my core.
Seriously?
And I'm used to hearing. I mean,
Let
I've
them
heard the left
fucking
make
take
these
the
arguments many times, but
tank.
coming from him, especially cloaked in Christian language, it's just it's disturbing at like the deepest
Fucking destroy the
level.
tank.
So what do you think decent means? It just means polite? Even if it did mean that, I don't think the side that pretty much exclusively advocates for, cheers, and commits political violence would qualify as polite. But it's not that. Okay, do you know what decent means? It means conforming to respectable and moral behavior. That is what decent means. A decent person conforms to respectable and moral behavior. So let me ask you, David, is it possible to advocate for
So I guess
evil
with 12 bullets he can just
in a moral way?
He can do 1,000 damage.
Is
to
it
my
possible
vehicle?
to conform yourself
Bro, what planet
to
is that even?
moral behavior
I can
while
I can use 3 or 4
for the slaughter
missiles
of
on
millions
a
of
fucking
babies?
vehicle and they don't die.
Oh, enemy helo.
Moral immorality, is that what you're saying? Is that what you're claiming? Yeah, he's deeply immoral, but he's immoral in a moral way.
Oh,
It's total nonsense and ridiculous. And so, so there's only two ways to explain what David French is doing. And one is bad, the other is worse. So one thing that he's doing is he knows that this is complete nonsense. And he knows that what guys like James Eldrico are doing.
Whoa, dog, you crashed the tank.
But he's pretending to not understand that. Or, on the other hand, David French is
But dog, it's some boo.
There's no third option. We've tried a lot of coffee over the years, and our sponsor, 7 Weeks Coffee, is the one my wife and I have landed on. I personally love their medium roast. It's super smooth and they sweet. And
Dog, this is dangerous.
And also stocks up in their coffee. And now, it's not just a great coffee, though. It's directly pushing back abortion culture. 7 Weeks Coffee.
Yo, I got I hit him with one bullet and I killed him. I can't move.
On the pro-life movement, 1 cup of coffee at a time. Why are they called 7 Weeks Coffee? Well, because at 7 weeks, the baby is the size of a coffee bean. At the same time, the heartbeat is clearly detected on ultrasound. They built their business around saving lives.
Dude, this is peak battlefield right here, man.
They've now raised over $1.5 million and saved thousands of lives. Now let's talk about the coffee itself. Mold-free, pesticide-free, shade-grown, and low acid, and organic farm. It's coffee that tastes better and feels better because they did it right. So go to 7weekscoffee.com and save 50% off forever when you subscribe. Plus, get a free gift with your order, and exclusively for my listeners, use code Walsh for 10% off your order. It's a 25% total savings on your first order, plus a free gift. Receive code Walsh at checkout. All right, before we wrap up, here's something really important.
Dog, we're fucking dead.
McKenna sent this group chat thing for the show. And so here's a TikTok video explaining to women, allegedly, how men approach the issue of parking, which is it's an important topic. I don't deny that.
Yeah, dog, we're fucking lit.
This video, this guy is, and which I find offensive. I find deeply offensive, very deeply offended by it. But here,
Kill that helicopter.
Women say just park anywhere, but men don't just look for a parking.
He's already dead.
For strategic position. And I know this drives my wife nuts, but let me speak for men for a second because men and
Yo,
women
they're
experience
fucking killed.
when you say just park anywhere, all we hear is abandon all strategy. We can't do that. We're not just looking for parking. We're running projections. Distance to entry, car return proximity, door ding exposure, exit flow, all of it. So what you're very fairly seeing is
Yo,
empty
dog,
space.
light up Charlie.
That's why we almost always back in. It's not because we're trying to be cool. I'm fully aware I peaked in high school. It's because we believe in a clean exit. Future us is tired. Future us is managing kids and groceries. Future us doesn't want to back up into a sea of other cars to try to get out. So we'll do it now. That's not overthinking. That's preparedness.
I was,
But we're gonna keep
I was literally trolling.
and when you don't have to walk a mile to return the cart and we pull forward and one clean exit, that's not luck. That was foresight.
Yeah, see, this is actually incorrect, and I have to say this is wrong. Now, he's right that backing into a parking space is obviously very masculine. That's the manly move. Women swoon over that. They do. They see a man back into a parking spot,
hole.
fan themselves and faint like a
Whoa.
something out of the Victorian.
They all
age.
have the exact
And we all know
same
that
gun
that's for
and
sure the
load.
case, definitely.
Damn.
But the rest of this is exactly wrong. It's precisely the opposite.
Did
of
you see
reality.
that?
The masculine approach to parking is to
Dude,
not
this game is
overthink.
fucking
Okay,
busted.
it's like strategizing, making a big deal out of it. That's not the manly approach.
Wait, what
That's
gun
what
is
women
that?
do. Like if you walk up to a regular guy and say, "What's your approach to parking?" Like a regular guy's
LMG, I think. Yeah.
Park. I just park. I find a spot, I park in it. Like, I've never thought about it beyond that. Like, there's no strategy. There's no
Holy
like.
fuck! It's been forever
I'm
since this map.
analyzing. I gotta find the right spot, and I'm thinking about future me. It's like, what are you talking about? You just park. That's the masculine approach. You just stop making a big. Just take an open spot, okay? Just take the open spot. Just find a spot and park in it. That's it. If the open spot is 12 miles from wherever you're going, well, okay, then I guess you're walking 12 miles. I mean, that's where the spot is. Just take a spot. That's my approach. My approach to parking is that I park and I move on with my life. Okay, that's my approach. My wife is the one who's really picky about the parking spot. That's a woman thing. The women are very picky about it. My wife, if she's driving, well, I wouldn't.
Have you ever seen that video?
I'm driving, but if she's just in the car by herself, she
on
will
the Ukraine front, like way back when, of a dude just like killing a Russian soldier with like a Scar H.
I think I have seen it, but I don't remember like exactly everything.
It's pretty crazy. I don't even think the Russians saw him. He had his back turned. So only his head is exposed, and I got about 3 hit markers. He's not dead. What does that mean?
Means the game wants you to think that you hit him in the shoulder. Or something along those stupid lines. I hit him once as well. I hit him for 27 damage to the head.
Whoa, we're on the roof. Holy shit, this is pretty lit, but there's no fucking people to sniper shoot. Thought this was like supposed to be like out of bounds or whatever.
Oh, what the hell? Your field of view doesn't change how much of the gun you can see? What a dumbass. What an absolute
Oh shit, he's on the other roof. Damn.
That's the gayest thing I've ever seen. Dude, people with those things is like, I don't understand, man.
What the fuck was that, dude?
This game's terrible.
Can't even take off in my spawn. Like,
I love how this game gives me a gun that has 30 bullets and it gives me an attachment to where it has 20. I don't understand what the point of it is. Like, is that so they can meet a fake quota of, oh, we have this many items in the game?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely think it's that.
Because it's not like you reload any faster. It's not like it gives you any sort of ammo benefit.
Dude, they put fucking red dots in sniper rifles because if people want to fucking use that, like...
Minutes looking for a space that's 15 feet closer than the ones that are immediately available. And if she's in the car and I'm going to park, she'll say, wait, but I see spots all the way up there.
They're all
Why are you
up on
parking
the
here? I see a spot all the way
fucking
up there.
bullshit.
And I say, yeah, it's like 20 yards away. It's 20 yards away from where I'm currently parking. The amount of time it takes us to have this conversation about that parking spot, we could have already parked and been at the door of the place. You see? Be practical.
Like 1,000 of
That's
them.
the masculine strategy. Be practical. Save your time. And that also means that, I mean, I'll park farther away than is necessary. Like if I pull into a parking lot, I'm taking the open spot. Like you pull in, you're pulling into the back of the parking lot. If there's open spots at the back of the parking lot, I'm just going to take that spot. I'm not even going to drive up to see if there's a better spot. I'm not doing that. My wife will say, oh, it's too far back. Well, we'll be fine. We're moving on. We're moving on with our life, okay? We're moving on. We're just parking and moving on. We have a whole life to live. There's no time to think about this. And having to walk farther is an added bonus. I mean, there are times where I will, if I have my kids in the car, I will deliberately park farther away than I need to.
He just knows I'm there. How does he know I'm in?
Because
like,
I was in the kids in my car one time and I parked farther away. And they had the audacity to try to complain. They had the audacity to try to tell me, they had the audacity to tell me I need to park. So now we're gonna park farther away and I'm gonna make you walk on purpose. This is character building, is what it is. So just take the first open spot, you know, that's the whole, this is why I take it personally. The whole reason why parking lots are so chaotic and annoying. Every parking lot in the country is annoying, and this is why. It's for two reasons. Number one, it's because, as I've covered a million times, everybody's a bad driver except me. That's the first problem. You're all terrible at driving. Every single one of you. I used to think there were exceptions. I used to say there's like 10 good drivers in the country. I'm one of them, so that leaves 9 other spots.
Oh my God.
I actually think that there are none. I'm the only one who knows how to drive in the entire country. All the rest of you, I know every man listening to this is saying, no, that's wrong, I'm the good driver. No, it's incorrect. Incorrect. None of you know what you're doing.
They're all gone.
I drive down the highway every day and I look around like none of you
right when I
any
fucking
clue
say something, it's up
what
on
do you
the
do?
fucking
None of you have any idea. How did any of you pass your driver's test? None of you should have. I should be the only one with a driver's license. I should drive down the highway and it should be like post-apocalyptic.
No,
There's
switching
nobody
to
on
the
the
sidearm
road.
is faster
It's
than
just me.
reloading, except if your
That's what it should
fucking
be. So that's the
sidearm
first
does
problem.
like 2 damage a
But
bullet.
the second problem also, in compounding this, is that this is what makes parking lots annoying, is that everybody is looking for the best spot. Everybody is going around, you know, it's like, I mean, the worst is when you're in a busy parking lot, every parking lot is busy, and you're leaving the establishment, and then someone starts following you. That should be banned. That should not be banned. Okay, you should go to jail. I'm walking, maybe I got my kids with me, and now I've got this stalker. It's like Jaws, right? They're following me. It's like, oh, maybe he has a good spot. Maybe he has a good spot. I'm gonna follow him slowly behind.
Wait, that knocked you off?
Yeah.
You do that. First of all, I'm walking even slower now.
I tried to knife him.
Joke's on you, because I'm parked all the way over there. You're gonna pass open spots just to follow me, assuming I have a good spot that will open up for you. Just take the first spot. Just go into the parking lot 5 foot. If you have to walk a little bit farther, you're gonna be fine. Okay, do you understand that we we all need to walk more than we do. We all spend all day sitting around. So if you got to walk a little bit farther, it's going to be fine. Oh no, maybe this is for the best, because here's how every parking lot works. I pull in, whatever the place is, Walmart or whatever it is, and there's like this everything is bunched up, like the parking lot is this big, all the action is bunched up here. And all of these idiots are circling around and fighting over the parking spot that's like 50 yards closer. And I've got the whole back half to myself, which is nice. So you fat asses can fight over the close spot because you don't want to have to walk an extra 50 yards. I'm fine. I'll park over here. I got the whole thing to myself. So that's that. Glad we could establish that. And that'll do it for the show today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.
It's fucking pinned in.
Holy fuck, man.
What do Snow White, Cinderella, and smallpox blankets have? Today, Matt will show the air travel experience.
Nothing really to condemn those comments.
Just got to show here.
I don't usually open the show with a correction, but today I am forced to do so in discussing the media's
Fucking losing because of this piece of shit.
In New York City on Saturday. I made an egregious mistake. I described CBS News as perhaps the worst offender
I don't think
every media organization.
Get in it.
But as bad as CBS's coverage was, my statement turns out wasn't entirely accurate. Because the truth is that no single outlet was more committed to lying about the terrorist attack than actually CNN, which aired the following analysis from CNN's Abby Phillips last night. This is one of those clips that seems like it can't possibly be real, but it is. Watch.
Two Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments. Another special guest is going to be with us at the table.
So the bombing was, quote, an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, according to CNN's Abby Phillips. Well, there it is. It's completely false. The total inverse of the truth concerning a major news story that took place more than 48 hours earlier.
Just one shot.
And she delivers it live on air. Now, of course, this false narrative is precisely what every news outlet, including CNN, has been trying to suggest for the past 48 hours. They've desperately been attempting to confuse the public into believing this lie. They know that
gotta get chopping wood.
Tried to murder right-wing activist Jake Lang, as well as several police officers.
How you like my Christmas tree dog?
Jihad. But as we discussed, the media has been reporting the story in a way that suggests that Mamdani was somehow targeted by anti-Islam demonstrators because the attack occurred near his official residence. And now we have the CNN anchor coming out and repeating the same lie that CNN has been spreading all day, except she's even more direct about it. So earlier in the day, on their official account, CNN posted the following text on X as well as their website in the form of an article. And here's what CNN wrote. Quote, two Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home. So notice how the propaganda works. Instead of Muslim terrorists whose parents came here from Afghanistan and Turkey, they are Pennsylvania teenagers who could have been enjoying the city during the nice warm weather. And these Pennsylvania teenagers don't actually do anything. They didn't do anything. Instead, something happens to them. They got arrested.
Wow, it looks really good underwater.
Their lives changed. It's all very nice. And we're told the incident occurred during an anti-Muslim protest, which suggests that the anti-Muslim protesters
that was
were
the
responsible
fucking
for the bombing.
That was Dunkirk right there, dude. Trying to fucking swim out of the fucking slaughter.
Now, that CNN article was written by two authors, both of them women. One of them went to UC Berkeley and Columbia Journalism School, where the yearly cost of attendance is well over $100,000. She uses they/them pronouns and identifies as non-binary. The other author is a Spanish-speaking Colombian immigrant to the United States who holds an undergraduate journalism degree. Now, what's important to understand about this propaganda, and why I'm opening with it, is that virtually every single mainstream media outlet is trying to do the same thing. The mistake that CNN made in this case was being too obvious about it. But if you pay enough attention, you'll find that journalists are paid to obscure relevant information to the extent that the information might lead you to draw some unapproved conclusions. If you draw those unapproved conclusions, then your life might actually get better. The quality of life in this country might improve instead of continuing this steady managed decline that we've been on for so many years. Consider what's happening to the air travel, right now in the United States. If you've been on a plane lately,
well, I did get the new gun,
I
and
have
it's
been
not
many
too
times.
bad, so
You know that it's as bad as it's ever been.
there you
And
go,
now,
dog.
in the wake of the DHS shutdown, things are starting to really fall apart. But the media, as always, isn't interested in providing all of the necessary context. So here's a report that just aired on NBC News on this topic, and see if you can spot what's missing. Listen.
Get up and get here early.
At Houston's Hobby Airport, those lines have been snaking out the main terminal, down to the baggage claim, and all the way out to the parking garage. The airport is warning TSA wait times could be 3 hours or more.
We tried to allow a little more than 3 hours to get here.
I've been waiting in line for about 2 hours now.
Got nothing else to do but wait. The same story at MSY in New Orleans.
It's amazing what
And at
just a
Hartsfield
couple
Jackson
people
Airport
can do
in
to a
Atlanta,
country.
the TSA's funding expired 3 weeks ago after lawmakers failed to reach an agreement on ICE protocols, triggering a partial Homeland Security shutdown.
Just, you
The
know,
White House released a statement blaming Democrats for the shutdown
officials,
and
what they
airport
can do to a
staffing
country
shortages.
in a couple of
So
terms
TSA
or
wait
whatever.
times are now insanely long at 3 specific airports: Atlanta, Houston Hobby, and New Orleans.
Really makes me question our
Total
whole
breakdown, as you can
election
see, they're
process or
telling
whatever you wanna
passengers
call
to
it.
get to the airport several hours early, and the TSA log
Well,
is
the
so
way
long
that they can do it
sneaks
is
into
they
the
can
parties.
call like.
Now, the
I don't
reason
know
that
if
all
it's
this
called
is
a
happening,
flash
according to NBC
election,
News,
or
is
just
that
one of those
Democrats
quick
are refusing
elections
to fund
where
DHS.
if they think
See,
that their
Democrats are upset
support
that
is
2 left-wing
falling, they can
agitators
call
were
it now,
killed while
so they
assaulting
can
and
get
interfering with federal law
the new
enforcement
term
officers.
going.
So they're not going
Instead
to
of
pay
waiting
for
until the
TSA.
support possibly
And Republicans aren't
goes
willing to
down.
compromise at the moment, so therefore you get long delays. But as an explanation for what's happening,
Yeah, that's
again,
actually how
that's
it
an
is. That's
incomplete
fucking,
analysis. And it's incomplete on purpose.
that's like corrupt as
You also have to
fuck.
ask yourself this question: why exactly is the crisis only affecting 3 airports?
So they could just
all of them
infinitely do
located
that.
in the American South?
I guess you just keep
TSA is a
doing that.
national
Yeah, because
federal
there's no
agency.
term limits.
None of these officers anywhere in the country are getting paid at the moment.
I'm pretty sure
So
that's
why
what
isn't every single airport
Trudeau
in
did
every
around
city
like
in the U.S.
20,
experiencing a
21 or,
similar
like,
meltdown?
it was either
Why aren't
it was
lines
from
going to the
2020 to
parking
2022.
in
It was within
you
that
know,
range because I
Maine
remember
or New
'cause
Hampshire?
my
Now, if you
family
look a
voted
little
at Woodbine,
deeper, you'll
which was a
discover
weird,
that TSA agents in the South are calling in sick
place to vote.
in response to the funding lapse. And that's the reason for these delays. In other words, the TSA agents in these particular airports are committing fraud on the taxpayer. Now, they know that when the DHS is funded, they will receive back pay. They're not getting paid right now, but they will get paid. But they don't care. They're going to take a vacation or work a side hustle on false pretenses because they see an opportunity to double dip. And for some unknown reason, which can't possibly have anything to do with systemic corruption or culture or local hiring practices or demographics or anything at all, the vast majority of TSA agents who are committing this fraud happen to be located in 3 major urban centers in the southern United States. Just a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the unprecedented amount of sewage that was flowing into D.C.
My grenade
streets
didn't
as
kill any
the
of those
local
3
water
people
board
up
celebrated its diversity.
Insane.
Is something similar happening with the TSA in Houston, New Orleans, and Atlanta?
You're gonna have to
Whatever the case,
kamikaze it,
we
dog.
need to know why so many of these TSA agents are
Be like that,
concentrated on
that
these
Japanese
particular
soldier
airports,
and
and why they aren't getting
You can't cook nades in this game,
punished
though.
for committing a very flagrant, obvious fraud.
Hold on, let me see.
But no one at NBC News will ever investigate those questions, and we all know why. They're afraid of what they'll discover.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Above all, the media's objective is to prevent you from realizing
and we're going back
that
in.
our cultural decline
Wait, did
is a
the
choice.
previous
All
Battlefields
of
have
the
that
daily
option?
indignities that we
I
put
know
up with
COD
are, in
obviously
fact,
has it, but
That I don't
we
know.
know that because not too long ago, we didn't
You've played
indulge
more
the
recent
laziness
Battlefield
and the
than
corruption
Battlefield 4.
of
I
the
don't
worst
know.
monsters. In an upcoming episode of Real History, we're going to talk at some length about the
book.
book The Age of Entitlement by Christopher Caldwell. And among other things, it describes many of the ways that society has floundered ever since the Civil Rights
what
era.
it is.
Turns out that when you usher in a wave of anti-white racism at every level of society, things start to break. And they break in ways that many people don't even realize. So
the
here's just
people
a
in
couple
power
of
just
examples
want
from the book. Quote,
me
By the
to be in like
2016
a
presidential
constant
election,
despair.
the quickest flights from New York to London took 6 hours and
I don't
40
know.
Is that the
minutes,
idea
almost
here?
3/4 of an hour
Because
longer.
I feel like if I
than
was
they
in
had taken
office, I
during
would
the
want
Nixon
people to
administration.
feel
The train trip
like
from
they
New
have
York to
such
Washington,
little
D.C., a
problems
mere
that they
2
don't
hours
even
and
have to
50
come and
minutes when
talk
the
to me.
Beatles made it on
So I probably just want to sit
their
back
first
and lay back
American
in
tour
my
in
fucking chair
1964.
every once
Now
in a
took
while.
half an hour longer on the
Constantly
very
being
fastest
berated.
trains. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Travel by air and by train has become much slower than it was during the 1960s. There are more passengers, more delays, the infrastructure has degraded, and meanwhile, airlines decided that flying slower would save on fuel, which is the main reason they stopped
Like one thing
making
that I
the
look
Concorde.
to,
Of course, you
look
could pick
to
many
compare
other
to is,
metrics where
you
we
know, when Game of
decline from
Thrones or
crime rates to fertility rates to literacy rates and so on. We've talked about
House of the Dragon,
a
where
fair
the
number of these
people come
indicators of
and
decline,
they're in
but
line
air
and
travel
they,
is worth focusing on
kind of
because it's a
request
relatively
things for the king.
expensive
It's
way
like,
to travel. It's supposed to
if
be the
people
crown
didn't have
jewel
problems, they wouldn't even
of
have to do
American
shit like that.
transportation. And if air travel has gotten much worse, then it stands to reason that you probably don't want to use the local subway system or take a Greyhound through the Midwest.
But like
So
I
what
say,
exactly has
they have
gone
no
wrong?
incentive.
Well, to answer
because
that
they have
question,
everything in their life.
you need to recognize that air travel used to look very different compared to how it looks today. Now, for one thing, the security lines didn't stretch the parking lot, and being a stewardess was considered a glamorous and desirable job, and passengers weren't packed together like cattle in the smallest possible seats.
Oh my God.
Take a look at this Coke TWA ad from 1967, which gives you some idea. Watch.
Finally, New York.
I don't know what his
Glamour
father
job.
was like, but
Marianne has made
I doubt
dozens
it
of
was
runs
his
like
best
this, served hundreds of hot meals, greeted thousands of new people. It all demands a lot of charm and works out to a lot of coke.
Being a flight attendant presented.
Are you still playing that game or no?
I'm in the kitchen. You can, get off the game or whatever. The tater tots. What are they called? Tater tots?
Yeah, tater tots.
You're not cooking those tonight?
No, I'm probably gonna buy something somewhere. Either Woodbine Food or Wendy's, maybe. I don't know.
How is Woodbine?
You said how is it?
Same old, same old.
Yeah, a lot of stores are closed, but it's not really that different.
Oh. You should try the that new place by Giant Tiger.
Shelby's?
No. It's like literally next to Giant Tiger, in the same boulevard.
Oh, is it where the waffle place used to
The
be?
waffle place used to be. Yeah.
What kind of place?
I haven't
is it?
tried it myself, but it's like Asian cuisine. So, like if you're used to getting like Asian food or whatever, might give that a look.
Do you have any idea the name?
I think it's called Hakka Dynasty or some shit. Or wait, hold on. Let me check. Yeah, no. Hakka Dynasty, Chinese restaurant. It's got good ratings on Google at least. I had to go by there sometime. You know what I haven't done in a while, dude? I haven't fucking done groceries just like by myself at Giant Tiger. I remember just doing that shit for like therapeutic purposes. Just to fucking be calm. Ugh. Order delivered. Skip. Dog. We should open a restaurant. The tater tot and steak kind.
Nice. You want to be out of business in 2 minutes?
Why, dog? Don't people like tater tots?
Yeah, where are we gonna have the business?
Good question, dog. Where would you want the business to be?
Not sure I would start that business at all. Unless I could, like,
why you gotta be such a party pooper, dog?
Maybe have like an Asian cuisine and wine or some shit.
You gotta be the chefs. I don't know shit about making Asian food. Oh, wow. No, we should be a restaurant that just sells fucking rat carcasses.
Nice.
Oh, we call it ratatouille.
Well, how'd that even work? They
the
order
rest of your life.
Like, is everything on the menu just like rat? Is it rat soup, rat?
Yeah.
Or do we
Rat
call it
tail.
chicken? Is it like chicken rat, or are we gonna say that it's chicken and then we just serve it rat?
Yeah, dude, let's do that.
Nice.
Let's wait for them to find out and then shoot us in the head. Amazing.
Let's have an escape plan to somewhere where there's no extradition.
As soon as we fucking, what is it, the FDA or whatever, they come into the store, we just quietly kill them. Just disappear the bodies. Serve them the next meal.
Guess no one can close us down.
Pretty genius. I mean, I figure one human body can get at least 12 servings.
I think more. I'm pretty sure. I think the human body is like 100,000 calories.
100,000 calories. Alright, well, fuck it. 100 servings then? 50. They say we taste like pork or pig. Cannibals, I mean.
Have known cannibals ever said what we taste like? Is that true?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't be able to give like a specific name, but I think they often say we taste like just like, you know, any kind of like pig or pork type of meat. Which I mean, I don't know. I guess we're pretty similar to pigs.
Well, they do use pig carcasses for weapons testing on that show for swords because the spine and everything's similar.
What was that guy say? Will it something? Will it cut?
It will kill.
Oh,
it will cut.
It will kill. Bro, like the look of disappointment he has when it doesn't fucking cut through it. I'm not gonna like it. He's nuts. Dog, you should get a forge and start making your own knives and blades.
Yeah, I'll just spend like
Dad already knows how to make
$40,000 on a
termites,
proper
so.
forge.
Well, bro, it's probably already in your dad's workshop or whatever. The guy's got a nuclear fucking sonar in there.
Well, he doesn't know how to make thermite, so.
That's fucking badass. I don't think that's any easy feat to be able to make thermite.
Well, one thing I think, because they used to do the rocket stuff, make rockets and fire them off. I'm pretty sure you had a lot more stuff available to you, like they do, than you do now.
Probably. Dude, you used to be able to like smoke in planes and shit. Everything was much more relaxed. And then Allah Akbar happened, and then, you know.
Well, yeah, you used to be able to basically walk on the runway because there was no fence.
Oh. What did you think of that video when Biden pulled the U.S. out of Afghanistan or whatever?
They held on to
and the people were. Here, I'm like, they have to know that's not going to work.
Well, one thing that they probably don't know, unfortunately for them, if they stay within the fucking gear section, they'll probably get crushed. So they'll be dead anyway.
It's like you're gonna hang on to the fucking plane for however long that thing's flying. It's like, dude, your hands are gonna give out, like your body's gonna give out.
Oh, and once it gets to 300 kilometers an hour or faster, you're gonna fly off as well. Well, they're just desperate, right? It's like how they're getting. Yeah. It's probably like, I'm gonna do this. It's probably gonna fail, but I'll die.
Yeah, like if the fucking Taliban invaded Rexdale, we have to like fucking run to Pearson Airport or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you see some people fucking blowing up on those planes. I don't know, for whatever reason that reminded me of World War Z, that movie, Brad Pitt. Plane scene, dude. Fucked up. That's whatever. I was surprised nobody got sucked into the engine or whatever.
I think since it was a C-17, the engines were a little bit too high, maybe. Maybe like 25 feet off the ground, maybe more. Maybe not 25, but
all those years just to have the Taliban take it over again. Imagine losing fucking lives, limbs, best friends, or whatever. And yeah, it's just unceremoniously given back to them.
Well, they left and they didn't leave anything behind, whether it was a form of government that could sustain itself, or any sort of security.
What lesson do you think the U.S. learned from all that bullshit?
Well, probably you should kill them all first, and not leave any rebels alive.
So how would you get them all? Like, I heard they're quite they're quite resilient and formidable up in those mountains.
Like I said, if they're in a cave, take out all the entrances of the cave, make it so bad that...
Yeah, but how many caves do they have, though? Like, do we know about all the caves?
Well, that's why you gotta have good intel. If you know that they're in caves, you gotta look for the caves. You gotta, I guess, form a part of your intel apparatus specifically to find them within the cave systems. Maybe have...
I feel like even if they did look, though, I don't think they'd be able to find them all.
I'm sure they have some sort of thing where they can ping the mountains and get some sort of information.
LiDAR. Haven't heard anything about Mexico recently.
Yeah,
They don't want to disrupt the drug trade down there. Heard the U.S. is planning on taking over one of those oil islands. Down by the mountain.
Yeah, I can't remember what island the name is. So I think it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's like one of those fucking Middle Eastern names or whatever, I don't know. Impossible to remember or pronounce.
Like for me, if I were to say, or at least say it how other people say it, Ayatollah, I would have no fucking clue how to spell it, because it's A-Y-A. Like I would never think that that's
Oh no, Aya. Yeah, that makes sense to me. A-Y-A. Yeah, I guess you could say Aya or Aya.
Yeah, but where's the I sound coming from? That's my problem. Because the ya parts make sense.
Fair point. Yeah. What happened to Minnesota, Somalia, or whatever? Any news about that?
Well, there was just the congressional hearing where they had Tim Walz go and testify.
Let me guess, you got a slap on the wrist.
He's not gonna get it. Doesn't matter how deep.
But he like retired, right, or whatever. Like
he's resigned from election.
Fucking dumbass. That guy was gonna be the fucking vice president. You know, if like an alien, like God being came down, he's like, look, I'm gonna fucking clear up all of this fucking bullshit. And he just, and like, it fucking just follows through, it just starts killing like all the corrupt fucking people. I wonder how long or how many people the population or like the public would put up with him, with it doing that. Because I feel like they don't know how many fucking people are corrupt, so it would seem like he's just killing everyone. So yeah, like I often wonder that, like, would it even be possible to have that done, or would everybody just fucking rebel because they just don't want to fucking face the truth that, I don't know, it might be literally everybody's in on it.
Well, even people like Thomas Massey, who people claim like isn't paid off, it just came out recently that he's also gets paid from foreign countries to push certain things. So it's like it's hard to tell. Like obviously we know where I can't remember her name now. Ilhan Omar, obviously we know where her allegiance lies. She admits it. She'll speak in Somali and thinking no one will ever understand her when there are Somali people that will translate it to English.
Oh, good on them. Dude, like everybody's got their fucking like vested interest, man. Like the Jews, they got their cabals. You know, the Somalis, they got their fucking thing going, man. Everybody's doing something, man. You hear about this Al Quds, whatever the fuck it's called, Al Quds? No?
What is it though? Like that doesn't ring a bell.
It's like a pro Hamas like rally in Toronto.
I'm not surprised, dude. That's like the least surprising thing. You know what's it's interesting. You can protest. You can hold a pro-terrorist organization protest, but to protest against the lockdowns during COVID, your fucking bank account would be frozen. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah. It's all fucked. It's clown world. Clown World Omega, dog. Yet with the timeline.
Seriously, it's fucking insane.
Bro, we got chicks online spreading their fucking butthole, making millions. We got fucking people in the streets, fucking dick sucking terrorists. I mean, what else do you want, dude? We've got everything in this universe.
It's interesting though. The people, those two groups are not the same. I'm not gonna say they're the same, but they basically support each other.
The OnlyFans chicks?
Yeah, like there's a surprisingly massive amount of the chicks in that sort of space.
Yeah, well, you said it right there, chicks, right? So, what the fuck do you expect from them? Their fucking empathy overrides logic, so.
That's why it's called suicide empathy. didn't realize that the same political party that Castro basically started is still in power. When I realized that, it's fucking insane.
Aren't they about to like collapse too?
Yeah.
Don't they have like blackouts like every other day or some shit?
Yeah, because they don't have the infrastructure. They're getting everything from Venezuela. Like that's kind of a lot of people don't understand. That's kind of the whole one of the big reasons why he did that is because of countries like that get either a lot of the resources or all of them from countries like Venezuela. So I think right now the only country that Iran is allowing stuff to go through the strait is China. And you see how much it's hurting everyone else. That's exactly what he wants to flip. Because if we flip the other way, then at least we could for the future 50 years of lack of possibility of World War III. Because if it's just Russia that is able to wage war, that won't even matter. Like World War III wouldn't even be a thing if Russia was the only like big power, or like an adversarial power.
Wait, explain it again? Like why would it matter or whatever?
Well, you see how Cuba has been cut off from Venezuela, so they have blackouts and they're like the whole fucking system might collapse.
Okay, yeah.
So if China was cut off from not only Venezuela but Iran, it wouldn't be a complete collapse like what is probably going to happen in Cuba. They would be severely hurt by that. So whether it would take them longer to expand or whatever, whether it would hurt their economy a lot. But the reason
It would hurt China or
China, yeah. China was cut off from Iran because right now China is the only country consistently getting resources through the strait, like the Hormuz or whatever. You've heard that name.
Yeah, I've heard it.
So basically, Iran can like basically shut down the strait, whether it's from a direct blockade or just threats of like if you're a company and Iran's like, yeah, we're gonna blow your ship up if you try to come through here, you're probably not gonna go through there unless you have like a fucking military escort, which I think they use Mincer doing. So yeah, right now China's the only country who's like consistently getting stuff. So if they were able to stop that and flip it to where China isn't getting anything.
Why is China getting it? Like they're not being aggressive towards China?
Iran is it's Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, China, North Korea.
Oh.
They're all like direct allies. I'd say they're more of allies than like they like each other and work with each other more than than our allies. At least with how like much they depend on each other.
So we're at the brink then.
Well, if I don't know exactly what they have to do to cut off their power over the strait, but if they were able to succeed with that, then yeah. Because people are like, oh, if he cares so much about nukes, why doesn't he go to North Korea? It's because like, as far as we know, they already have them, so we're not going to start a fight when they already have nukes because they might use them. They have the chance to use them. So it's like with countries like Russia and China, you don't really want to go on a head-on battle. You want to do it economically and basically starve them in that aspect instead of going on an actual fight.
Oh, didn't he announce there's going to be boots on the ground for Iran now?
Oh, I haven't seen that, but maybe. When did you hear that?
Well, I guess he didn't announce it, but I'm just like hearing talks of it, that they're going to do it.
That's like the whole thing that we don't know. But like during his first administration, he froze the $6 billion aid program that they had with Iran, which is why you need to give them $6 billion. I have no clue. But like even in the Obama administration, they were funding not only Iran but other Middle Eastern countries. I believe Afghanistan was one of them as well. Things similar. I've told you about the Fast and Furious, where they gave guns to cartels, which is retarded.
No way, what?
Wait, I never told you that?
What the fuck? Fast and Furious? What do you... Wait, no. I've never heard of this. What the fuck are you talking about?
How have I not told you? Yeah, the Obama administration gave guns to the cartels. Now, people...
Oh, I thought you meant Fast and Furious like the fucking movie.
Oh, but that's what it was called. That's what the operation was called.
Oh. Oh, okay, then yeah, fuck.
Yeah, it's similar to that where they, under Obama, they would have cargo planes like full of, basically full of money and other resources, whether it's vehicles or materials. And I feel like how the fuck did a place like that get the technology to make missiles that can actually hit a proper target pretty accurately? How did they get that? Like I guess China, but because I think when the airspace was closed above Iran, the only plane that went through there was a Chinese plane. Like when, so I guess when airlines and shit were scared that they might get shot down, China knew they're not going to get shot down because they're allies. Okay, I'm gonna go figure out what I'm doing for dinner. I'll be on later.
Okay.